No. I meant like, should I make you audible? Hey, look, it's Craig.
I love Craig. He's my favorite. Hello, Squishies.
Craig's our favorite. Oh, Lav, since you're still in chat, I'm pretty sure. Tuesday, I had my deck come in that I was doing an opening for. I'll explain what that's going to be, but Tuesday's stream is different. If anybody likes Magic the Gathering, I'm doing a deck unboxing on Tuesday, and I'm talking about why the Everyone's Invited deck is an archetype that kind of only works in Magic, and I'm going to talk about all the weird things in Magic the Gathering that make every other TCG incapable of doing what the Everyone's Invited deck does, because it's one of my favorite archetypes, one of my favorite play styles. It's gonna be really fun to talk about.
I'm moving my mic.
You're moving your mic? Why? What did Michael do?
I feel like you can't tell me what to do. I'm moving my mic.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking why you're doing it. Those are different things.
Bad kid.
Oh yeah, Pride Month exists. This is gonna be the wildest Pride Month.
People who aren't in schools and don't spend their entire life in high school just don't know about things.
I mean, everybody else seems to. I'm not like a parade guy, so I tend to anything parade based, any parade based event.
Pride Month is not about parades.
It's about parades. It's a parade based event. Pride Month, that's a parade based event.
Let me put it this way:
Thanksgiving, parade based event.
Lean towards me.
Yep.
Hey. Yeah. Lean towards me.
I did, yeah.
The amount you're wrong is $1 billion.
I'm just saying it's kind of parade based.
Get your shit together and remember that if it wasn't for all the people fighting for the rights of gay, lesbians, queer, transgender folks, two-spirited, that it would immediately slide all the way back, because some people are what we call fuckheads.
Oh, no. I'm all about the movement. I think it's great.
But you don't parade. We don't parade. We teach kids about like the history of Pride and all the different difficulties that have happened to them.
My reaction, I want to be clear, is not to be dismissive of it, because I think Pride is very important, especially right now when LGBT people are trying to be erased by many governments around the world, more so than has been for a long time. My reaction is more, I exist outside of time and don't notice when stuff happens. And I'm always bemused that there are people in the loop with the calendar enough that they know when a thing has started. Like, everyone's been like, Happy Pride. And I am so outside of the ability to be part of time that I constantly forget, even though I've heard it. This is like the third time I've been surprised today that it's
Which
Pride
is why I told you, people who don't go to schools always amaze me, because my life is calendared by school. Like, it's Red Dress Day, it's Red Hand Month, it's Pride, there's always a thing, because school.
I exist outside of conventional time. It's such a shame that Brazil's doing a cool thing, because we're gonna have less people than we normally would, but you know what? That just means it's gonna be cozier.
Cozy.
What's the cool thing? What's the cool thing Brazil's doing?
I'm not gonna lie.
You're not? I thought you lied. I thought that was your thing.
Squishies, I'm in agony.
Oh no, I forgot about this. Yeah, there's been a grave accident.
Oh, it wasn't a grave accident. I lifted a heavy thing because I forget all the time that I have EDS, and then I lift a heavy thing and I'm like, oh, there goes my entire shoulder. It's out now, my whole shoulder. I guess we didn't need that shoulder. But now I'm in agony.
You should try to not destroy your ligaments if you could. This sounds bad. It sounds painful.
This degenerative ligament disease is not my favorite thing.
Yeah. It sounds like a bad choice, if I'm being frank.
I think I chose my genetics wrong. Is what I think.
You should have picked a different build, honestly.
When I was building myself, I should have said like, ooh, that's really cool. And then it was like, by choosing this, you will look young for a long time. And I was like, oh. And it was like, and you won't be able to lift anything without your shoulders popping out or your fingers going backwards. And I was like, tell me about the young part again.
I almost certainly got your thing. The weird rubber bones thing you're talking about, but Brazil's not doing a sports thing. They're doing like a streamer thing. Like I said, I'm not in the loop about stuff, so I didn't know it was a thing. And everyone's telling me, just so you know, this is happening, and I was like, Okay. Okay.
I choose wrong. You're gonna look young for so long. Enjoy that. Make
I mean,
it
that
worth
part's
it.
great. Here's what I'll say, right? Here's what I'll say.
Paladin is here. It's been a while.
I'm hoping that your daughter's weightlifting routine she has me on will protect my joints. Because
You are not wrong to do that. Your daughter is a absolute
my
slave
daughter?
driver, my daughter, your sister's a slave driver, but do
Yeah.
what she says.
Yeah, because she's doing okay. She got the rubber bones disease, and
It's the ligaments, not the bones, you weirdo.
I'm gonna be real. It's tough, y'all. It's the training's been tough. Also, my shirts have gone from, oh, my chest is so broad that my shirts are tight, and that's kind of cool, and I feel sexy about it, to, oh, my shirts are so tight, everything's uncomfortable, and I hate wearing my clothing. I am straight up going to need to buy larger sizes and learn how to take in the waist to wear clothes without like looking like a freak or feeling uncomfy.
Hey, question. What are you drawing? Is it your turn to choose?
It's my time to choose. You chose the last one.
I want to choose them all. How about them green apples?
Well, take it up with Lab. Lab told me I'm picking, so I'm picking.
Lab always gives you equity.
Yes, equity.
You want to hear about a thing I did? I bought books, and on the Kobo, it's like the Kindle for you guys, but it's better, less controlling, and more awesomical with library books as well.
Okay, so the Kobo exists because basically because Canada has media laws where there's a certain amount of Canadian content you need to have on your platform to operate in Canada. So Kindle's library has to be limited when they sell in Canada, but Canadian companies have a lower standard. So Kobo is like, oh, we can market on that. So Kobo basically, if you're in Canada, has way better options. It's also the one you can take out ebooks from the library with, because you can't take a foreign company and hook it up to public services paid with a Canadian taxpayer money. So it has to be basically a plan through Kobo and the government instead of Kindle. So that's what a Kobo is for anybody who's curious.
I've got the Kobos, the bows of the Kos, and that's how I do my berserking with Berserk. I will give you guys a whole thing about time being a construct. I will blow your goddamn mind.
I mean, the idea of if time is a construct or not.
I do a full 80-minute lecture on time for philosophy kids, so I'm like here on that. I'm just ready to pop out at any moment.
I mean, time both is and isn't a construct. Like, it's a dimension.
Yes, I have a whole thing on it.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it, Drawk, because literally, I'll pop off.
Okay.
Okay, listen to me. What was I going to tell you about? The bows and the Kos.
That's true about you.
I got the Kobos. I bought up to book 19 because I was drunk. I've decided I have that disease since I don't drink. That just turns all your food into alcohol, so I just live drunk.
That's not a thing that you suddenly develop, though, so I don't think that's true.
It is a thing you can suddenly develop. I looked it up. More importantly, I don't have it. I just use it to blame for things. And so I bought a whole bunch of books. And then I was reading, and I literally was like, I feel like I've read enough. Aren't we done? And I looked up what chapter we were supposed to go on, and I literally finished the chapter we were supposed to read and then decided I was done.
That's funny. You made it exactly.
So whoever picked it perfect, because I legitimately was like, no, I feel like I'm done now. And I was. I'm
going to be real. I felt like this section was too short. I felt like, we're done already. No, I
felt done. I felt perfect. I was like, what an appetizing thing. I'm really glad we stopped at the part where she tried to ride a sword.
So if we're getting into it, we're not doing the intro anymore. Oh wait, I'm gonna add one last thing that can be edited out for the intro. Hey everybody, I have poured my heart and soul into the Clair video essay that'll be coming out within a few weeks, and everyone needs to watch it because I have put like over 100 hours of work into it already, and it's only been like a week since I started. Send help, I'm dying. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. This has been so much work. I have never had my brain working this hard for this many hours straight in my goddamn life. Please watch this video essay when it comes out. I've put everything I have into it, and it's not even like done. Anyways, now I can start.
No, I'm not done.
Okay, yeah, you go.
I don't remember where we start, but I need to tell you.
Okay.
The other thing about this is I felt like this entire arc and all the arcs and everything in this manga is called. Come on, guys. Really?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
So,
like,
so hear me out, right?
I'll hear you out.
It feels weird because this is written by a Japanese guy, and there's not a lot of Catholics in Japan, right?
Are you sure?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that like they aren't that big on missionaries these days. So I think most of the Christians in Japan are. What are most of the Christians in Japan actually?
Just a minute. I need to ask.
Are they Catholics?
Just a minute. Father, human who is the father of Drawk, can you please bring me 2 more?
Catholics are 40% of the Christians. It is Protestants 60%. So okay, so I wasn't like entirely wrong, but there is a fair amount of Catholics. It's just like I was right that it wasn't most of them. A Walmart bag with my running stuff yesterday to put food in. I know Christians in Japan were prosecuted for a long time. I also know that a Chinese man said he was the reincarnation of Jesus and led to more deaths than any human in history.
Listen, everybody thinks the reincarnation of Jesus. Like, get an original play.
Well, the thing I was saying was that adds on to it is he was like, I'm the reincarnation of Jesus and my revolution will cause more death than any person in human history.
I'll keep it. Get me a new one of these. Okay, I had to make your father get me things. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I've become drink-tastic and I'm stuck at my desk now doing this, so he has to do that.
We'll prove
where did we start is my question, because I can't remember
we start with Skull Knight eating an egg, but I wanna say, let me finish this thought. The thought I was gonna finish is it feels strange because this man is Japanese and Catholicism is not like a big social construct in Japan. But like, doesn't this just feel like this arc feel like it's about Catholic guilt?
Yeah, and people say all the time, like when we started reading it, people were like, don't you dare just make this about Christianity. And I was like, brother, I'm not making it anything. I'm just reading a freaking manga. And then I started to read this piece, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not on me. I'm not the one who wrote the Christianity coded shit. Like, this is Christianity coded, and that's not on me.
Like, she's a spoiled noble who's been put in a position of authority for nepotism reasons. She works for a place called the Holy See. You guys might not know this. That's the Vatican. The Vatican is the Holy See. That's what it's called. She works for the Vatican in this world, and she has a BDSM kink that is eating her up inside, and that she feels extreme guilt for. I'm sorry, y'all.
She feels uncomfy. She's like, I'm not fully comfortable with the fact that I really like flailing myself. But when she flails
and others, she loves flailing herself and others. Yeah.
She's like, ooh, flailing.
Yeah. Like, what's more is she's a switch too. So if she embraced her role in the BDSM community, she'd be accepted no matter what.
Yeah. I didn't write this, so don't come at me when your people write stuff about religion.
Hey, Catholics, if it makes you feel better, this is basically just aimed at you guys, and I will be frank. Y'all are my favorite Christians right now, and it's not close.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. That's a pretty sad statement.
It feels like a 180, because if I go back 15 years, Catholics are one of my least favorite branches of Christian, but they're winning right now.
Yeah. So the Holy See, remember, is the jurisdiction of the Pope, leader of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah, she works for the Pope.
Like a sovereign entity. So she basically is like the head of the Pope's little Pope army.
Well, she's she's the lowest ranking, she said, of the people who are in her position.
Yes. It's the spiritual administrative leadership of the Catholic Church and the physical sovereignty and territory, blah, blah, blah. So all I'm going to say is when dude names it the Holy See, dude is trying to tell you a big, giant, open, not secret. Hey, I'm comparing this to the Catholicism.
Yeah, we read Lost Children. We read Lost Children. You should watch the video of Lost Children. Can I tell you a funny joke I heard recently that I love?
An Italian name. Like he literally named her an Italian name.
My name is Farnese. I'm going to keep calling her E-Girl Paladin because she got that energy.
Farnese, here's what I have to say about her. Her hair, when it was up,
it's so cute.
It wasn't thick enough, according to her ponytail things, to have been as thick as it was when it was down.
I was thinking about this. I think what it is she has really thin, light hair, so it ends up voluminous when it's out, just because of how light it is. Because there's a lot of people whose hair is so, the actual hair is so thin that when it's out, it looks thicker than it is. Like it's common with a lot of Northern European girls who will have like hair that looks really thick when it's down, and then they tie it tight and it's tiny because the hair is so thin.
Dude, I have thin strands of hair. Also, I bleached it.
Your hair is not nearly as thin as a Northern European woman's.
My hair is so thin.
Your hair is not so thin.
Yeah, I would like to come on here and confirm. How dare you? Your hair is not thin at all.
Look, I'm telling you is her hair's goddamn cute when it's up and it's goddamn cute when it's out. Now, am I defending her as a character? We'll have to get to the part where we actually talk about her as a person. I will defend her hair because it's adorable.
I think her hair is adorable. I just think bitch gotta be so for real right now if she's saying that up hair is that down hair. Hey, hi, my baby. My baby was left at home while her dad went for a run. She has done nothing but cry. Oh, just from Mama's voice, she does sound like someone with thicker hair, not gonna lie.
You're right about that. You shouldn't stereotype people like that. Okay, I gotta be real. I gotta be real, guys. I gotta be real. The person who's mad at me for saying Catholics are my favorite Christians right now, I'm not talking about Catholic converts, because when you're talking about the Catholics who are doing awful shit in politics right now, they're all converts. They're all people who, it's actually a movement. There's a name for it, traditionalists. The traditionalist movement is fake. Like, there is no movement within the Catholic Church of traditionalists for people born and raised in the Catholic Church. The traditionalist movement is made up of 99% adult converts who are just shitty misogynists and racists who are looking for a religious backing to justify what they're doing. There's a reason, and this isn't a joke, a ton of the traditionalist adult converts, when Pope Francis was made the Pope and started to become a public figure, a bunch of them converted to Islam because they wanted a new religion. They don't believe in anything other than justifying them. So the dude who's mad that I said Catholics are my favorite, let's be real clear about this. Adult converts are very different than the born and raised Catholics. And is there problems within the Catholic Church too? Yeah, but they're not a death cult that's literally on team climate change. So they're still my favorite. Sorry, team.
Don't get him wrong. He doesn't like any religion.
That makes me sound a lot ruder than I am.
Not that you're rude, you just don't.
I don't jive with organized religion on the whole. But I do think if you're going to organize religion, maybe having a central authority isn't that bad, because it means that the crazies get kind of trimmed.
If we can be so for real right now, though, the central authority has caused the most havoc amongst the universe ever. I mean, let's talk about the papal bull that devastated Canada and the indigenous people. It's
not good, but then, like, if you look at modern day American Protestantism, it's so destructive that the majority of evangelicals are on team end the world. Literally.
It's sad, but look at what Ecker's saying for sure. They're right that one of the worst things that's happened in Catholicism lately is the thousands and thousands upon many thousands of all the pedophiles went to the Catholic Church because they were like, what's a great way to get close to children?
You say that? I've looked into the statistics. Child sex abuse is higher with evangelicals and Baptists, both within the ministry and within families.
Drawk, nowadays, yes.
Nowadays, yes.
Throughout history, it was Catholicism.
Oh, yeah. Look, I said right now the Catholics are my favorite. I'm not speaking for their history.
Yeah, nowadays it is a lot of evangelicals.
Baptists and evangelicals have higher rates of child abuse, both within the church and within families who practice, than Catholics at the moment.
You need to get a new thing to be trying to beat the Catholic. I don't have a tongue. My tongue is broken. I broke my tongue.
Catholics just keep records while the decentralized ones don't. That's also true. Most Catholic priests have secret wives. I've heard that's a myth. I think a fair number of them do, though. Is this U.S. statistics? Yes, I'm speaking with the U.S. because it's kind of not fair to compare otherwise, because most countries in the world are so a single denomination that the statistics you get are really skewed. Plus, I'm going to be real, European countries, most of you have an official religion. And what that means is that when your ministries gather data, they are going to prioritize data that protects the dominant religion. It's also the reason that in the US, you can't trust statistics about Mormons, because the FBI and CIA are so Mormon controlled at this point that statistics about Mormons get ignored. So you can't actually look at Mormon statistics either. Within the US, you can only compare Catholics and Protestants.
Okay, and also, Ataria, that is an insane thing to say about teachers going into teaching to become child predators and glass houses with the church. I can tell you right now, as somebody who's been in teaching for years, I have known so few child predators. And when there are child predators and we find out about them, their life becomes a living nightmare hell. And we help give every piece of evidence.
I'm just saying, y'all being pretty defensive. You want your churches to not be a target? Make them better. If I'm coming at evangelicals and Baptists by saying they have the highest rates of child predators of any group, there is no demographic with a higher rate in the U.S., work to make that group better if you think it's good, because that is genuinely the highest concentration of child predators of any demographic. Any demographic in the United States, the highest demographic of child predators is Baptist and evangelical Christians. So y'all want to not have that reputation? Work to change it. Religion in general, true, but by far that's the most.
Religion more than in different jobs, because within religion you can also kind of feel like you, well, first of all, they ask for the age of consent and marriage to be taken down. What is it in the one state now? 12?
I see knives, you're Mormon? Yeah, no, you guys do control the FBI and CIA. We will never get accurate statistics about how Mormons treat people, because the FBI and CIA are like an obscene amount Mormon. It's actually crazy. What about Berserk? We're getting to it. We were talking about Catholic guilt because Farnese, E-Girl Paladin, is definitely a writing about Catholic guilt, which feels really weird because this is written by a Japanese man.
He obviously was doing it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he obviously felt like he was doing something there. But it was like, I sat there and went, okay, so we're just gonna actually use the Vatican. We're not even gonna hide it. We're not even gonna try and hide it. Okay. Stunning. There's nothing I can do about that. People who want to claim that it's not a religious thing.
She works for the Holy See and she feels guilt about her BDSM kink, guys.
You know what I'm proud of her for?
EA killer, that's crazy.
She really got into it. Like, full shirt off, right? Like, she just really did it. I think that the real reason that it occurred is I'm starting to believe that this man is just saying to himself, how many times can I show different types of boobies and vaginas on here? What can I make them do so I can draw those?
I'm going to be real. That's possible, but he also is willing to draw dick enough that, like, I feel like he's just wanting...
He put dicks on statues and horses.
I feel as though he just wants to write bluntly about sexuality in general because it's part of the world building.
No,
to me...
I think in sex in general, dude is a perv. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Oh, yeah. But whether or not he's a perv, he does write about it in a way that, like, thematically is meaningful. Like, it's not just... it doesn't feel like it's...
need to.
Yes. Well, you don't need to. You need to be a good writer.
Exactly.
Yes. Exactly. I feel like you don't have to have a good reason to include sexuality in your work. It's just you need to if you want to write well.
Okay, so what my
question
is what actual chapter are we on?
We started at 118, I think, and at Skull Knight wandering around the ruins
was it the
of
Bloody Night Sky. Was it the Way Home? Oh, was it Blue Elf? Was it Blue Sky Elf?
Dude, no, that was the. I don't know the
No,
chapter
it
names. I
is-
click on numbers.
Let me
It
talk to
is
Lab.
the Beast of Darkness.
Yes, thank you, Lab. Finally, there's a Lab in the world.
I got you.
Ugh. I have taken all of the happy ass drugs and they're not working. I need to be high.
Yeah, you injured yourself, and that's not great. The state religion thing is also interesting, guys. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all go. It's fine. I understand religion is very personal to people, and because of that, it must be defended. And I understand all the benefits it gives. I just also, man, we are gonna. This is about Catholic guilt, and we have to face that. Is all I'm saying.
Catholic. Do we know that?
Do we know what's Catholic?
What a weird question. I said, I wonder if he was Catholic. Do
Oh.
we know that?
I feel like probably not based off the vibe. He did read Nietzsche. Did Nietzsche write he wrote about Christianity in general, but he didn't. Was he specifically about Catholicism? He wouldn't be, right? Because Germans are Protestant and he was German. Am I crazy? Are they Catholic?
No, you're not crazy.
I always assume they're Protestant because and this is gonna sound rude. The Catholic European countries tend to have more of a fun vibe.
Oh my god.
Am I wrong?
Oh. Nietzsche out there killing God.
The
No,
divide
you're not
between
wrong.
Protestant and Catholic Europe tends to be how fun the vibe is.
Okay. I don't know what sect of Christianity Nietzsche was.
And also, I want to make this clear before anyone jumps down on me. Yes, England does not have a fun vibe. I want to point out, however, to you, everybody.
Never mind. Nietzsche was Lutheran. I looked it up.
Nietzsche was Lutheran? Okay.
And he was nicknamed the Little Pastor.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. Okay, can you not talk to the people about religion while I go get something? I need you to try and
Fine.
keep it out
I'll
of
not
religion.
talk about
Can you
religion
do
at
that?
all. I'm done. No more religious talk. This is an unreligious section of the book.
Not. Oh.
Okay, so it's different dominant sects and stuff in different areas in Germany. I can't say the reason I thought that it was a specific one right now because I'm not allowed to talk about religion. I've been asked not to. You think, God, I mean, Catholicism as a stand-in for religion in general makes sense. Yes, I think that's true. I think that's fair. Money or honey, Ilani? That's you. I'm blocking your name. It is Ilani. Okay, Ilani. I will be frank with you. I wasn't saying that specifically because of your comment, but it was more just looking at what the chat had become because of what I said. Look, guys, we have to read the book that's here, but it does make sense. It fits with what we're reading.
Okay, I'm here. Have you managed to instigate more issues?
I have only responded to chat comments, which are entirely about religion, so I didn't add anything new, at least. But to avoid talking about religion,
not to talk about religion,
I would have to ignore
Why
chat.
Why
And
letting him do that?
because they did it. They're doing it. I started something and now it won't stop.
You are bad squishies. Okay, we're moving on.
Wait. EKR is pointing something out to my point, though. Bavaria is majority Catholic, and it's the fun part of Germany.
It's, you know why? If you could ask for forgiveness, you could do a lot of fucking things. This
Honestly,
is the point.
yes.
Like, if you don't have forgiveness, it's hard to do fucking things. But when you have forgiveness, you could be like, I smoked some pot and I drank a whole bunch and I danced provocatively. What do I got to do to get out of the feeling of guilt here?
I also, sorry, can I say one last religion thing before we move on? Because what you said touches on something that I've seen observed by religious scholars that I think is very interesting.
All right.
There is sort of three philosophies. Obviously, obviously there's more to it than this, but there's three major philosophies among Christian denominations, and you can instantly track what the cultural vibe is of these groups based off of which of these they believe in. So there's groups like Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons where the belief is you are God's chosen, and because of that, you're not supposed to sin. If you want to not go to heaven, you don't sin. Sin exists, it is tangible, and you can't do it. Then there's the groups that believe in sin, but believe that to sin is human, because if we don't accept that we are flawed, what did Jesus die for? And the idea is you can confess, and that's Catholicism and a couple of other denominations. And then there's evangelicals, Baptists, and a few other denominations who the belief is if you worship the right God, you are blessed. And no matter what you do, you go to heaven if you believe in the right God because you are inherently righteous. And you can imagine the type of culture that builds. And I genuinely think you can look, obviously there's exceptions to this. There's local priests, there's smaller breakups. There's so many ways that this can change. But if you look at this only in the broad strokes, I think you can really easily see the culture that builds around these three interpretations of the Bible based off of the belief that either to sin is human and to forgive is divine, the belief that you must not sin or you don't go to heaven because you're no longer a special boy, and the belief that don't worry, you're an inherently righteous person and everything you do is justified because you're one of the good ones. I think genuinely that split of belief is the core of the cultural differences between Christian denominations.
Yes, and there's also an idea of having dominion over all the earth and seeing dominion not as a responsibility and a reflection of your character, but rather as being able to use and abuse to your joy's end. And I think that a lot of people in Christianity take that that people ended up with the dominion over all of the earth and animals, plants, etc., as an opportunity or a green light to just do whatever the fuck they wanted, rather than a opportunity to care for it. So I think about indigenous ideas and the caring for things 7 generations into the future, and remembering that you inherit from 7 generations back, and that you have a responsibility to leave the earth in a better place than it used to be. And Christianity has people who are either people who feel like they have that 7 generation feeling, or it has people who have completely divested themselves of the earth as a living entity and have decided that they're just allowed to treat animals with disrespect, use the earth to the end of the time, absolutely destroy it. And when it's destroyed, it's time for rapture. Rapture time, baby! We don't have to deal with this shit.
So, Icy Knives also corrected me about Mormonism. What I said about Mormonism came from what I have heard from Mormons and ex-Mormons I have known, but they are saying that Mormons believe a lot in forgiveness as well. I will say, however, it does seem like there is more strictness than Catholicism to sin, but I don't know. Okay. I'm not an expert on Mormonism, and I think we should move on.
Do you consider yourself a forgiving person?
Me? Yes, 100%. I am an incredibly forgiving person to the point of it being a flaw, I would say. Yes.
Do you think your sister is a forgiving person?
No, not at all. Not in the slightest.
Am I a forgiving person?
No, not especially.
Is your dad?
Yes.
Interesting. You think I'm forgiving to a point then?
The issue is, you see yourself as forgiving because you see that you will forgive someone who deserves it, and that is a higher bar than you are willing to admit.
It's a very fair thing to say.
Yeah. Oh, wait, do me.
Oh my god, what about Cassie?
Cassie, you are kind of, as best I can tell, flippantly forgiving, where you have invisible lines that cannot be crossed and otherwise are completely forgiving. And I don't know what the fuck those lines are.
That's fair.
How dare you see me for who I am?
Also, Victoria, forgiveness or non-forgiveness is not a vindictive thing at all. I'm not vindictive. I will erase you out of my life like you never existed. I will forget your name. You won't be on the plane, so I don't have to worry about having anything vindicated. If somebody says your name, I'll say, who? Did I ever meet them? I don't remember. I don't recall. So don't act like it's a vindictiveness. That's petty and beneath me. You just disappear behind the forgetting walls if you were never born.
Let's
That's
move
fair.
on to Berserk. This has been a funny segue.
I'm not gonna lie, Lav, 100% on Lav. You were 100% right.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. It's
Yeah.
crazy to look into a mirror.
Yeah, it is really weird. As soon as he said it, I was like, ooh, yes. That's a true thing. I forgave my parents for years and years.
You
And I
did.
still forgive them. I forgive them now in the way that they also don't exist. Okay. Once upon a time,
I'll also be real,
there was
actually.
a little
Just
man
to say,
with a
most people I
tiny
know,
sword.
most people I know who aren't very forgiving still forgive their parents because it's a special relationship. Anyways, now we move on.
Once upon a time, out in the world, there was a tiny little man with a tiny little sword who rambled around, cutting things down and hurting people. Yeah. It was especially disturbing when Sexy Skull Daddy came in on his horse and trippity-tropped over their remained charred bodies on the ground that were screaming things like, Sir, you must come sacrifice. Why did he eat the Belhalet?
He just eats the egg. He just show up and eat the egg.
He etzed it like it was a hard boil.
I love him showing up. I love that he shows up and he's just like, wow, this guy killed a lot of people. Ooh, yummy.
I was like, there's a lot of dead people here. Everything is cooked so well. Oh, an egg. Like, fuck Skull Daddy.
Could I offer myself an egg in these trying times? I have a great sense of humor, don't I, struggler?
It was really odd. It was also weird how his eyes were glowing before, and then his eyes were just still glowing after. But we did a close-up of his eyes glowing as if something had happened, and I was like, bruh, your eyes were already glowing. Nothing happened. You're just still glowing. Congratulations.
Can I say he has so much drama for... Okay, actually, this is so funny to think about. He has so much drama all the time. He just rolls up, says something ominous, and leaves. And when we see him without someone to talk to, he's just strolling around, making idle observations and talking to himself. Like, struggler sure is in it. I'm lonely.
He's real struggling. Look at this. He's done a lot of struggly shit here. And I was like, I'm not mad. Like, okay, bro. But you're really just talking about his footprints and eating fucking hell eggs. Like, you're just with your horse just literally walking along on dead, charred bodies. This feels, for you, Skull Daddy, and even for you, this feels a little much.
Oh, man.
If he had just looked at them and talked about the footprints, maybe I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. But he ate the Belhalet, and that was... Like,
I'm going to eat this egg now, if nobody minds.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
These are the questions I don't want to ask, and here we go.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't want to ask, but I'm asking them, so I'm just putting out there that I don't want to ask them, but it's too late. We're asking these questions. Okay, so is he pooping that egg out?
No, I think he's whatever he is, he's been changed. Whatever he is, he's been changed somehow. I don't think he has a body. My belief is I think he's just the armor.
Okay, but listen, if he is just the armor, how far down does egg drop? I put it in me, and we didn't hear anything in it. He didn't make a tink sound.
So I've got two options for you, and I want you to tell me which of these you find better. Okay, option one: inside him is a shadowy void of extra-dimensional space, and the Behelit he's eaten are in there, right? And his job is to erase them to sever the connection between this world and the god of the void, so that there can be no more demons, right?
Okay, I was thinking something similar to that, kind of like the whole dimension piece.
Here's the other option.
Yeah.
His boots are full of Behelit. He got boots full of egg.
That's the better option. Wait, I have another option. He's just three smaller people in a trench coat dressed as a sexy Skull Daddy. So inside they just pass the egg down and put it in a pouch.
Oh, man.
What do you think? Is that possible?
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the interdimensional shit, but it doesn't even matter. Even as the interdimensional shit, I was like, you taking it out of your belly button? You pooping it? You taking off your shoe and shaking it out?
I
Like,
think
how are we
he
getting
never.
this egg
I
hatch?
genuinely. He said he's an enemy of inhuman things. So I think like
Yeah.
his goal is all the Behelit are gone, and then there can be no more demons. Like he wants to end
But
this.
did he
End this.
say he would be eating all the inhuman things? Like, I don't remember a point
No,
where
no,
he was
he
like,
said
and
he's
so,
he
like,
said he's the enemy of all inhuman things, and I think he never wants it to come out because he wants no one to become a demon ever again, right? So I don't think
fine,
he's
but-
ever reaching in there.
So
I
what
think they're just
happens
gone
to
forever.
you? Here's my question. Like, it
Yeah.
has to be an interdimensional thing, because otherwise, what happens to dude? Dude is just like, I eat some eggs, and then they just hang out at me with all their evilness.
Otherwise the answer is he's stuffed full of Behelit, and he's like, now I need to let nobody ever kill me. I need to just stay together forever. Because
Exactly.
if anyone kills
That's
me,
what I'm saying.
I'm a hell pinata.
I'm just a
I
hell
am the
pinata. I'm
apocalypse.
gonna let all the Behelit out, and everyone has become evil all at freaking once. And so, yeah, if dude isn't interdimensional, and the eggs don't somehow evaporate or eviscerate or go to a different dimension that nobody.
Oh, you know what's cool to think? Yeah. Yeah, you know what's cool to think though?
Yeah.
He's only fought demons, right? People who have already made a deal with the Behelit so far. He's not fighting people. And if you think about it, if he is full of Behelit, that would make sense because he doesn't want to get human blood on it and create a pact.
Yeah, well, that is true. NX Love, I don't want to call you NX Love anymore. I'm done with it. I'm going to call you Slov.
What?
No, I don't like it. No, I'm going to call you Zlov. No, his eyes were already glowing before that. If you look at the scene just before he goes egg crazy, his eyes were already glowing. He was like, I'm Skull Daddy and my eyes glow. They're already glowing. They didn't pulse because I thought the same thing. Then I went back and looked and I was like, no, it's the same fucking glow his eyes had before. So it's not doing anything. Love X. Well, that makes more sense. God damn you. Yeah, because you're one and the same. You know what I'm doing today? The obvious. So I think that it has to be either an interdimensional thing, or more importantly, we can't have Skull Daddy needs to be protected at all costs because he is a fucking Behelit pinata. And that's what I think might be going on here. It's worth having this conversation, people, because we're going to need to protect that son of a bitch so hard, or he's just going to spill all his hellbound secrets and everyone is going to become bad.
So
Or
the good news. Yeah.
Or
What's
we
up?
make a necklace and earring set out of them. We put them on our boy Guts. Guts is like, oh yeah, bitch, you think you're so good because you're the pointer finger of the fucking hand?
No. This is terrible.
Filled with Behelit.
But this is terrible because Guts is constantly covered in other people's blood.
I know. Oh, I know. And all of them are going to animate. Then he's going to let all of those things that want to be alive that have been hunting him go inside the Behelit. And that's how he's going to get his powers. So stoked. So stoked. I can't wait for this to happen.
This is for sure a real thing that's going to happen.
Oh, it's on its way. No mistake. I put it on order and it's going to come hot, fresh, and tasty. Oh, yeah.
So the Holy See shows up and they're like, hey, Mr. Guts, you're under arrest. And he's like, for what? And they're like, well, the murder of like 48 children.
Yeah, okay, I want to talk about that too, philosophically. Let's just have a little mo on the side.
Yeah.
48 children. I haven't decided if I'm going to put that on Guts' feet or not. So let me be clear.
Here's what I'm at. I don't think
he knows it's kids. He knows it's kids now. He's still like, I ain't going to find another way to deal with this.
But also,
I'm going to chop them.
They can't come back. They're under mind control. They're being killed all the time anyways. And if he doesn't get through, he won't be able to kill her. And if Mothra keeps roaming about, she's going to keep killing kids.
Which she is, by the way. She is roaming about.
Yeah. She collapsed, remember?
Yeah, she collapsed, but then remember, she straight off F's off.
No, she tried and then she fell out of the sky.
Oh, I didn't think that at the very end. I thought she actually pieced out.
I'm pretty sure she fell out of the sky.
I'm gonna have to look.
We won't. Okay, you're right. We should skip. We should talk about the demon talking to Guts' head. It's like, hey, did you know you're going to become a monster? And Guts is like, can you fuck off?
Yeah, here's how I feel about the demon talking in Guts' head.
Yeah.
The reason that people are such fucking crazy bastards about the fact that we call Guts a little elf boy, which PPPSSSSS, more evidence here, is because they keep talking about how he's going to become a monster. When I read this, I was like, oh, that's why people have their knickers up their ass. It's because in here, Guts is being followed by around somebody who's calling him a monster all the time and saying that he's going to change into this monster and lose his humanity. And so people are like, the whole point is that Guts has this humanity that keeps him from being this monster that it is trying to turn him in over time from hell. And so they feel very, very seriously that you can't start calling Guts an elf because Guts is fighting the good fight not to be a monster and lose his humanity. And then when we read this part and Puck was all like, oh, what are you talking about? I can't do that. I can't turn against my humanity, even though he made a little thing afterwards that made it super funny. He was like, oh, I'm an elf, so can I have humanity? I think that was evidence that the author was trying to say, like, calm the shit down. Humanity isn't coming from being human.
I just realized something, and I'm so dumb. I only now put together that we see Guts at the beginning able to reconcile with who he is and not be possessed when something is talking to him and saying you're just going to become a monster by being like, no, I know who I am. I'm aware of everything you're saying and I've accepted it.
Exactly.
Whereas for Nesi, when she is provoked by a demon talking about what she feels remorse for and guilt for, it is able to control her because she hides from who she is. Her weird BDSM kink, she fucking denies it and tries to pretend it's something it isn't, that it's repentance, that it's guilt, or that she needs to hit Guts for information. She justifies and lies to herself, and because she lies to herself, she's vulnerable to being controlled. Her psyche is weaker. Guts never lies. He's like, yeah, I did those fucked up things. You're right, bitch. Come at me.
Okay, so two things on that. So that would be more reason why people would be upset that we're calling him a little elf boy then, because they're like, it's really important to know yourself, and you're claiming that Guts doesn't even know himself enough to know who he is. But like, ancestry, bro, that's not his fault.
No, you don't go to ancestry.com.
Come on, man. He don't got ancestry.com. Like, leave him alone. And then B, that's super, super important, because the thing that he's actually saying are the people who get into religion, and the reason that some people in religion are pieces of shit while others are just good people is one group of people are people who know that they are using religion through knowing themselves, and they know what their faith is and why they are driven into faith and what faith does for them. Whereas some can't confront the darkness within them, and they use religion as a cape to try and hide the darkness, rather than saying, how can I use this darkness in a positive ways to still have humanity?
I like it.
Because like, look, pedophiles can't use the darkness in a good way, except for they can keep themselves far, far away from children. But really, they can.
Say that word. No one report us.
Oh, so sorry. The people who like ages they should not like, because they should just take themselves away from children and say, I see this dark side of me and I can confront it, and then I can do the things to make sure that I don't behave in that way. But lots of them turn to things where they're like religion, and say, okay, I am not willing to confront this. God, do the work of making me good. Whereas Guts is like, bruh, God can't make me good or bad. I have a quest that I'm going to follow, but I'm not looking for God to change who I am. I know who I am. And so that's why you're right. When Fernacy goes off on her little thing, dude's entering her head no problem, because she doesn't have the ability to use goodness within her. Look at all the parts of her that are bad. She was just like, you know what? God, I see darkness. I'm not willing to look at it any further. You make it better.
You're right. And she is trying to pray for protection and ask for something else, whereas Guts, like, of course she's easy to possess. She's reaching out to a power that is not hers as a defense. She doesn't see herself as worthy of defending, as strong enough to defend. Guts is like, bitch, stop. I'm done. I go away. I know what my deal is. I'm sick of you. Whereas Farneshi is like, oh, God, protect me. God knows I'm not that. Like, she has this denial of self. And when she tries to refute her darker side that she feels guilt for, she does it by asking for a higher power. So, and this is a world where God and the devil are one and the same. It is just powers beyond humanity are all going to be the same entity. So when she opens herself up, inviting protection from something else, she's actively inviting in the replacement by this other power. Her prayer is actively opening herself up because she is admitting her own weakness and saying, hey, something else take the reins. I can't do this.
Okay, then can I pop off about something and then we can
Yeah.
So one of the things I was noticing is when you look at the ugly ass bird, which is a symbol of like a Jesus character that's been splayed open, and then the Belhalat at the bottom are sucking its life out through snake-like figures that are draining it of its blood. And that is the symbol of the religion. When you turn it into a silhouette, that kind of looks like a whale's tail. We all know that. It's all the same. Everyone saw it. We were all there for it. And so that symbol is the symbol of both evil and good. And then I was like, so is dude saying then that there is no evil and there is no good? There is, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There is, but it's dependent on the person. And one of the ways that it's dependent on the person is, are you a person who looked at the evil inside of you and said, this exists? This is for real? It's here. And if you can do that, and then you can do your best to live a prosperous life that helps others and works in service to humanity in some way, that puts you on the good side of crucified dove. And if you're a person who doesn't and denies who they are, it doesn't matter who you say you worship or what you say you're working for. The good or the bad side is just depends, because religion, evil and religion are the exact same. All that matters is your intent and your actions. And so I think that in this one, he's just saying there is only one religion, both dark and good. Whether you're on its good or dark side depends if you were able to look at your good and dark and know yourself and believe it and understand your strength and weaknesses and then do your best for humanity. Because bitch be denying herself. So she can be the head of this group of the Holy See, and it doesn't matter because she's on the evil side, and that's why she was easy to possess. Whereas we just were taught that Guts would be on the good side, which is why he would be hard to possess by a devil-like character.
But especially because this is Nietzschean, like apparently there's arcs named after Nietzschean books, so like we know this dude is Nietzschean. I think it might just be as simple as like the idea of relying on a power that isn't yourself, of disbelieving in your own ability, and like removing your own accountability, removing like that's it. Not accepting accountability and putting your actions on a higher power is the weakness that is exploitable. That's how your oh my god, yeah, no, that I think is what is being sent, that your dark side is capable of running rampant and causing harm if instead of taking accountability for yourself, your own actions, your beliefs, your values, everything about you is, oh, this higher power demands it of me. Like we see with her whipping Guts and herself, both of those are indulging in a kink, and she is self-justifying that these are in service to a higher power and not taking accountability for her own choices, her own desires, and that is what weakens her, so that this force can overpower her and take advantage and cause her to be consumed by that darker side.
I agree, but we have to add to that, to accountability, action. Because even though Guts is I have to be careful about how many times I say fucker or fuckface or fuck.
You say what you say as you will. I also think we should say, when we're saying this, I want to say quick as well, because we keep couching things. I want to say, when we say negative things about religion in this, that is because this is a text that is very clearly Nietzschean. People have told us that future arcs are named after Nietzschean books. We are reading the philosophy of the text. We are not saying, hey, hate religion. We're saying a man who writes this book about the devil and the God being one and the same, and the devil is actually worshipped by the Catholic Church, and a bunch of his arcs are named after Nietzschean books. Maybe doesn't have a very good opinion about organized religion, and we would be lying if we didn't accept and read into that theme. We are just being active readers.
if we're talking about Nietzsche, like he was very religious. He just believed that other people were doing religion wrong. Like
Yeah.
he believed that the world had killed religion and made it a shit poor thing, and that it was no longer living up to what it should live to. But he still believed in it. But I think that this dude, as you like to call him, Kenny Boy, is saying
Kenny Boy.
that Catholicism would be the same as devil worshipping, depending upon your actions
Yeah.
and your accountability.
Yeah.
That if you are claiming that you're Catholic, but you are a pedo and you hurt people, then like it or not, your actions have dictated that you're actually a devil worshiper.
Yeah.
Every worship you give, every song you sing, every prayer you give is just in the act of self-aggrandizing, where you're trying to pretend you're good and using it as a cape over your shoulders to protect you from the evils that you are. Whereas you could look like you were on the devil worshipping side, but you protect people, you fight for them, you feed them, and whether you like it or not, you're on a Catholic side, or the true Catholic side.
And I want to say, Astoriastus, you're right and you're wrong. You're wrong about the Star Wars part where you're saying later arcs are named after Star Wars, so it has to be about Star Wars too. No. You have to understand that there is a big difference between naming things after a controversial, largely loathed philosopher and naming things after the biggest impact in global pop culture ever. Like, those are very, very different things to name something after. One of them is more telling than the other. Like, it is straight up the difference between naming something as a reference to Harry Potter and naming something as a reference to Mein Kampf. Like, those say very different things because one of them is a lot more. I mean, at this point, there's still controversy. So I guess Pokemon, naming after Pokemon and Mein Kampf is the comparison. Pokemon is a much more innocent thing that doesn't say that much if you reference it. If you reference the text of Mein Kampf, you are implying something of value you share there. I do
something of value I don't share.
I don't, but
okay.
I think you were implying
Listen
if you.
To me.
Yeah.
What?
The other thing I was going to say that they're right though is they said that we see evil comes from humanity, and you're right. But I think it's about how evil comes from humanity, and we see that in different ways. And here, I think we are meant to see that someone who takes their strength and hands it to a higher power instead of relying on their own humanity is vulnerable, that they are weak to their own weakness because they don't see themselves as able to accept and control what they see as their flaws. It's literally Artorias. How have I been saying that wrong? Thank you for correcting me. How have I been reading that so wrong? It's literally just Artorias.
Artorias. That's Artor is what I'm going to call him.
Artorias is a Dark Souls character who I can definitely pronounce the name of. Hey, Artorias, thanks for correcting me. I guess I'm dyslexic.
You know what you got to add that to? EDS.
Hey guys, if I mispronounce your name, please correct me.
Hey guys, if I mispronounce your name.
Yeah?
I said what I said.
Okay. Good bit.
Thank you. Okay. Didn't you love the part? Thank you, Rafe's Revenge. Rafe is cute. When we got to the part when he was like hyper moving for the world and he's like, all I must do is be the most awesomest thing. Wait a minute, I gotta put on my glasses. Oh yeah, how many more things must I cut down until I get to him? And then it shows Griffith out there being like, yo, what's up? You like my bird head? I got even bigger shoulders now. It would be interesting if Griffith had a ligament degenerating disease because his wings would do frightful things.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he can regenerate.
No, it's a degenerative. He's not allowed to regenerate. That's the whole thing about degenerative. Like it's not that it has to keep getting worse. It's that it can't heal. Here's the interesting thing that I just was curious about then. I was like, thanks for bringing that back. 10 out of 10. Love the moment. Live for the moment. Kind of way too similar to another panel we had before, but okay, whatever. Get down on your knees and lift your little hand. But it almost was like is that a break that's letting me know that we're now actually going to do some bigger build moments to get to him faster, and Griffith is going to come back a few more times
I'm
quickly?
kind of wondering. I think I feel like
I think it
I
is.
feel like it might be because we didn't when we were going into the Lost Children arc, and it feels like we might be heading there sooner now because we are mentioning him again. Like we're mentioning the quest again.
Not only that, but putting him in the panel like that and the big glow up in the center kind of felt like, okay, well then he's asked this big deal question, and I think it's time that, I don't know if it's going to go well for us, I'm not going to lie, but the book carries on, and I think Guts is still there, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, I think we're going to see him. Also, hello, Puck. Puck, you're pucking it. Puck
saves
being
Guts
so
again.
pucked up. And Puck having that cute little other face that's more like a character from, I don't know, what am I thinking of? You know when he has his regular, I'm like a handsome, beautiful Puck, and then he does that other Puck face? What artist would you say, or what anime would you say that's more similar to?
So
like, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Rather than a specific anime, it's just an art style called chibi, which is cutesy, over the top, adorable moe stuff. And a lot of artists shift into a chibi style for comedic effect. I genuinely, my eyes watered at the moment where Guts wakes up and sees that Puck is saving him, and there's a tear in his eye as he says, "I can't stay tense around you." It's such a pretty fucking panel.
I can't stay tense around you might have been one of the sweetest fucking things I've ever seen.
And then he says, "You know what? This is your satchel." And then in his head, he's going, "He does have medicinal value." And then he calls him Puck.
And uses his name. I was like, oh my god. You know what? Berserk can make me angry and I can hate it. And every time Puck comes on stage, I'm like, "Hi, Puck. I missed you." Oh, Puck.
But seeing Guts care about him.
Yes. The two of them might as well have hugged and told each other they were brothers, as far as I'm concerned.
But seeing Puck fight for him and saving him, and then later when he...
Also, Puck giving the little girl the thing and said, "Feel free to sting your father as many times as you want."
Yep.
Oh, Puck's my bud. Puck's my bud, man.
Puck is so good. I love how hard he's working. I also...
Favor?
Yeah.
Can you put Puck in the center of the skull? Like, I know it's not my day. Can you have him peek around? Can you have him peek around a tooth?
No.
Come on, man, a tooth.
No, it'll ruin the composition. It'll ruin the Okay, tell you what. Next time I will add in and add a Puck option to our points. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll add a Puck thing next time.
How many points will it cost me?
45,000.
Why wouldn't it be the same as Out of Straw Hat?
45,000. Let's move on.
You're the worst. When Puck was standing there and he said, "Egads!"
I love this whole part. I also love later when he tries to save Guts, to help Guts again, and Guts is like, "The ones at night are stronger," and Puck's like, "Noted."
Okay,
Understood.
Did you get Puck's little math equation though? First of all, I was reading it backwards because I was reading left to right. And I was like, oh, that's the way it's supposed to go. So it's Guts. Puck is the bad guys are stronger than Puck, and then but Puck is stronger than the bad guys equals Puck must be better than Guts. Puck is the best.
Yeah, he's like, if I can beat them, I'm better than Guts. Right now, in this one moment.
Oh, fuck off. That was so glorious. When he opened his one eye, which we're apparently just down to now.
Yep.
We ain't getting a new eyeball back now? Okay. Pop off Zorro. Ridiculous.
We got our one-eyed, one-armed boy.
I want him to get a new eye.
Yeah. Hey guys.
That's just me.
Guys, Slave Knight Gale was just entirely Miyazaki Dark Souls being like, "I want to have a Guts Berserk in my game, huh?" And then Simon Claire Obscure is just them going, "I want to have a Slave Knight Gale in my game," which means Simon is Guts twice removed, is what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
The chat knows what I'm saying.
You're speaking Latin.
Because Simon is way more Slave Knight Gale than he is Guts, but Slave Knight Gale is Guts. Artorias is Guts as well. Artorias feels a lot like a Guts. Yeah, Dark Timeline Guts. Yeah, Simon is French Guts. You're right. Slave Knight Gale. But yeah, Slave Knight Gale is Guts.
Did you hear my can open?
No.
It was so glorious. I'm sorry you missed it.
Oh, I wanted to tell you something funny.
Sephiroth has the song.
Sephiroth does have a song.
Sephiroth!
That
song
That's true.
Lives in my head.
Dude, I'm so hyped. I am going to spend an unconscionable amount of money on the Final Fantasy cards that are coming out on Friday.
Oh, Final Fantasy cards are coming out on
Final
Friday?
Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards are coming out on Friday, and I might financially never recover from this.
You need to be a good kid. Be a good kid.
I'm a bad kid. I'm going to make a video about it so I can make it. No, but I'm going to open my decks live on stream and talk about them so I can make it a tax write-off.
That is a true story because people do love seeing that shit. Okay, here we go. The Conviction Arc, Binding Chain Chapter. Here were the two things I was thinking. Number one, people trying to pretend to have a fair fight with a person who's clearly beat down to the point that he's beat down on. Like when the guy was like, I just really wanted to have a fight that was fair and I thought it would be great and like old timey and shit. Back like in the days I was on a fucking bridge, like a troll, but a troll on top of the bridge. And I was like, brother, if that kind of fairness and old timiness mattered to you, you wouldn't fight Guts when he clearly is.
I mean, look, they have a warrant for his arrest. I honestly loved that guy's bit. I felt like he was being earnest. Like he was like, fair, respectable fight.
I love Bridge Troll. Bridge Troll is fun. I'm just saying, don't claim that it's a proper old-timey fight. Guts has already looked like he's fought an army of 1,000.
I also love the anti-stereotyping. I love that of the three leaders of the Holy Iron Chain Knights, the one who is kind of an ugly dude is the only one who seems like an earnestly good person.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Like the handsome guy and the beautiful woman have problems.
I honestly don't find him that ugly. Like he's doable. He's just
look, he's not as pretty as the other two.
Obviously, but he kind of just reminds me of a Scottish bloke who fights with a two-handed axe and then smells a little bad and needs a good bath.
He does have Highland Games energy.
He really does. Like, if he was in a caber toss, I'd be like, I'm gonna bow out now. And the fact that he's not wearing a kilt, it's really kind of a tragedy. But he has good knees.
Serpico, I think, should just be voiced by the guy who voices Shen in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's the vibe I get for him.
I would not know. You have to say things I know. So come up with a comparison, whether you like it or not, that I know.
Okay. Let me think. You don't watch anything. I got nothing.
Such a lie. That is a fucking bold face.
You ain't seen a single voice acted thing. I don't know.
But there are actors who can do voice acting. I know this to be a fact. I don't know if you heard this about The Rock. The Rock did a thing.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I think it is unanimously a bad thing that animation has started replacing voice actors who know how to voice act with celebrities who are objectively worse at it, just so that they can put it on the poster. There are some actors that are just as good at voice acting as they're acting, like Jack Black.
I think it's crazy that you think that's new.
I think it is new. I think it started. Well, it's newish. It started in like the late '90s, but I think it's still bad,
brother. You're old as ass now. 30 years is not new.
Fair. 30 years isn't new. You're right. But I think we should go back to how it was 30 plus years ago.
So, like, I would just like to point out that 30 years would make it like, I don't know, One Piece length. So it's not new at all.
Okay, you're right. It's not new. It is a 30-year-old trend. It started with Mulan and it should end.
Oh, it started way before Mulan.
What was the first like big one where a role was a famous actor instead of a voice actor?
Like that's a boring question.
It's just been getting worse and worse is kind of the thing.
You know
And now
what?
we're at a
I'm
point
gonna
where like
yes
voice
and
actors
you.
don't
No,
exist.
even though I think your question is boring, I'm gonna yes and you because that is shitty co-hostery. I'm gonna fix that up, okay?
Oh my god. Even though your question sucks, I'll answer it because I'm good.
No. I'm not good yet. First of all, I haven't done anything. So don't get excited.
It has become worse over time. I feel like it got worse over the course of the 90s.
Famous actor for voice. Okay, let's look this up. Hold
Seems
on
like
to
too
your
much
later hosen,
investment.
kid. No! I am doing this. Hold on to your, oh Jesus Christ. The first instance was in 1933 when Mae Quistal, who was a vaudeville performer, did Betty Boop. I gotta say, she nailed Betty Boop. I love her. Boop, boop, dee boop. Then it was like the 40s. All of them were Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Hannah Cornfield, did
Wait.
Conrad.
So then voice acting came back and then
Yes.
it being just actors returned.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yes. It's actually returned. Having people who specialized in voice acting was after.
That's interesting. Okay. You know what?
That is
You know
interesting.
what?
You know what? You asked a good question. It turned out you were right. It's a good question.
Wow. So the history of it was just actors, then voice actors became a thing, and then they were like, these don't look good on a poster. Get rid of these fuckers.
Well, you know what they should have done? They should have done more P90X, and then they could have been on the posters.
Let's move on. It really
all they
does
were doing
suck.
is all they were doing is the same thing we're doing nowadays. They were just taking people who are art, like Survivor picks people who have a social media presence because then you're adding a social media presence and new fans to a thing. So all they were doing in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s up until voice actors coming is just using a known person with a already have a fan group. And then we're going back to that because it helps to pop off your piece.
Yeah, it
Bring
does, but
fans who
also
already existed.
Voice actors are better at voice acting than actors usually.
Wait a minute. Why is Claire saying something? I'm gonna call you Claire. Why is Claire saying something that feels so personal, like it's a thing that they know? When you P90X so hard, your piss is pink. Like, does
That
feel
happened to
very
Clarith, is what I'm hearing for sure.
I'm thinking that Clarith has had a piss pink moment. You okay, Clarith? I see you. Okay. Farnese is like, she's killing it and shit. She got those
just
hooded
serves
eyes.
so hard.
She got those hooded eyes, which are always a good thing. They're big,
Yeah.
but they're hooded. So she got that secret girl thing. That I've got the hooded secret eyes. And that was good and all. But her people were kind of mid, you know?
I do like the Serpico pointing out, though, that, like, of course they're mid. Like, this is the job that nobles are put to not have to do real shit.
Sure.
If these were fighters, they'd be mercenaries or knights.
You jumped my gun, but it's okay because I'm glad that you're there. Yeah, because I was like, her people are so mid, and that's my joke. They just kind of suck because they're mid, because they built them that way. And I really appreciated that because it felt really historical, like an accurate historical thing to have this properly be like some knights groups were, just little piss ants who actually didn't know how to fight, weren't very good at anything, but you needed to keep them far away from battles, but have them be engaged. So it's really smart. So imagine if you were a person who, say, draft dodged, like, Trump, and from the Vietnam War. And rather than having to feel like a draft dodger, they draft you, you go, but you go into this like cool group that's never near the fighting, but is like doing shit. So you look like you're noble. You get to pick and choose your battles. So you don't ever have to do anything actual of real value, but you can like play it like you do. And then you never have to be the person who was seen as a draft dodger. It's kind of brilliant.
I love it so much. I also, I love that accurately. It feels like she's here for nepotism, like probably related to someone important. Probably does have
100%.
fencing skill because the speed she moved her blade. Sure, Guts was exhausted, but it hit him, and I don't think he was expecting to be hit. He was expecting to kill her.
No, he was surprised. It was clear.
Yeah. So clearly, she has fencing skill. She's been trained. No fucking experience. Has not done this at all outside of a training regime.
Well,
Like,
shocked by blood on a blade.
Yeah.
Shocked.
saw blood on a sword and was like, whoa. Did you know they do that?
Oh my god, these things make blood appear from in the body to out on the sword.
But then it makes total sense that it feels like Serpico is probably someone who's doing this as punishment. They were like, we don't want to waste your talents. That's my guess, because he's such a little smarmy bastard. And Bridge
But
Guy...
he's also very talented.
Yes, and Bridge Guy was someone who was a great and famous knight that was like, oh, I have turned myself now towards a life of devotion. So it makes sense that there's like a few people here who know what they're doing, and most of them are, the medieval equivalent of draft dodgers.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I liked about it, because then if you have a band of merry draft dodgers who still get to hold their heads up high, then it really gives a different feeling to this mid brigade just moving through. It also shows why they have a single-handedness and an inability to see things outside of their own reality, which we then find out when she can't see an elf and she doesn't see Puck, because it would also explain why she wasn't able to do this simple questioning of the people in the town and the finding out that these used to be little fairy people and that they had been changed and that's who they were before they were just dead babies. You're in a fucking town where people are building a giant grave, and I, as a reader, is like, why couldn't she take the 3.5 fucking seconds it would take to find out what went on here, and then find out that these had been turned into something, and that you actually had to be saved by them by Guts.
Her
But
worldview
then when you find
can't
out-
accept it. She probably heard them say that and was like,
Exactly.
oh, you're crazy. I'm not even going to take this
Exactly.
in.
And so by finding out that A, she can't see Puck, but B, that they are a group of like permissible draft dodgers, it lets you know. What?
I just want to say, Fighter first said the funniest thing, which is they're draft dodgers, but you're going after Bigfoot in Vietnam instead.
Exactly.
You were supposed to be
take
draft
that one.
dodgers, but you're hunting a cryptid in the woods.
And it's very important for the government. And so
The
it
government
made
needs
more
to
sense.
arrest Sasquatch so bad, dude.
Out here, we called them Somaquests. Somaquests. Thank you.
Out here, I didn't go to the education to learn to pronounce apostrophes, so unfortunately, Sasquatch it is.
But I just taught you. It's not that hard. I guarantee all the squishies can say Somaquests. Somaquests.
You have a pause in there. It's hard to do.
Somaquests.
I mispronounced
I didn't
Artorias for months.
That's a good point. Never mind. Who was I talking to? Anyways, as we're going through here, it makes sense then, because as a reader, I was like, come the fuck on. Why is she still after Guts the same way she was before? Like, didn't she do the very easy thing of finding out what happened to all these children? Could have been poverty, could have been hunger, could have been disease, could have been a children's stalker, could have been anything, but she's immediately like, Guts, it's the Black Cape Swordman. But then when you find out what kind of a group she is, and it proves the zealousy and the ineptitude of being this like draft dodger group, is why that wouldn't happen. She sees a narrative she wants to see. She reads the Bible with one eye closed. As I met this priest who used to say to me, there's some people who read the Bible with one eye closed and only want to pull out the things that have direct meaning to them or prove the meanings they already want in life, and don't read the whole thing because there's some stuff they don't want to be true. And that was her. Rather than coming into the town and being like, holy shit, that's a lot of dead kids. Can we find out what happened? She's like, up, black sword.
Can we also, I think
To be
it's
fair,
so,
he did kill them.
I think it's so interesting to think about that she is sent on the miracle confirmation unit. That's the task force she's been put in charge of. And yet her mindset is so fixed into her expectation that the only miracles she can see and accept are the ones that the church was prepared to find. The ones that there is prophecy about are the only miracles she can see. She can see the lake of blood and take it in because that's a miracle that was part of the prophecy. But every other miracle feels so impossible to her because of how rigid her worldview is. If the church didn't confirm a miracle was possible, it might as well not be, it might exist. And that's so interesting.
You know what else is interesting? Is the way that when we're talking about critique, I'm gonna straighten this up now. That's not where I'm gonna start. When we say certain words or ideas, we either only think of them as being positive or negative. We always think of miracles as being a positive thing, but a miracle under like the terms of agreement of its etymology could also be something that is really terrible. And it's funny because you don't see it like that. If I said, "Oh, there was a miracle," you wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, what tragedy has occurred?" So I think that's a very interesting way of looking at it, using the term miracle for that, but accurate, very accurate.
Because it is just something divine that has happened inexplicably. And, you know, Guts, you're right. That fits the definition, bud.
100%. The irony of it all is, yes, indeed, Guts did it, but she didn't even bother to figure out if there was a why beyond the death.
Yep.
So they do it. They come up, they surround our poor boy. Poor boy is surrounded.
Oh, can I say something that I really love about this whole section is when I saw how fatigued he was, I was like, dude, how, like, it's going to be so dumb that he's just going to be able to wield his sword. And then, like, he was struggling the entire time to move it and had to start reopening his wounds and risking breaking his bones to wield it again. And I like that because I was looking at how exhausted he was at the beginning and was like, that sword looks too big for a man this tired. And it's going to feel silly when he has no difficulty. No. He's struggled a lot. And I was so grateful because I'd already been thinking about the fact that he should. And the fact that so much of this fight is dictated by the fact that he
wanted
can't.
to say, you might show a lot of gross naked things and some stuff that has disturbed me and will haunt my dreams for a lifetime. But I am really glad you stayed consistent with the idea that he shouldn't be able to just pick a sword up now and go out and have a big old honking ass fight. I was happy with that. I really enjoy, I don't know, what's the name of the sexy little prince?
Serpico?
Serpico, that's right. I really enjoy the sexy little shitty prince. He reminds me of that person in your life who comes in who, you know, farts, but somehow you get blamed for it. They're the type of person whose shit just doesn't stick to them. And so they feel very comfortable. It's like they pick and choose their place so well that they know how to say it. So they just interject their thoughts and feelings very carefully, but it seems so laissez-faire when it's so very,
like
very
really well planned and thought out. And
but it feels in the moment like it was so laissez-faire and casual.
He's written really well to come across that way.
It was so well done. I was like, oh, this is a very particular kind of character, and I love it. So when he was like, come now, can't be helped. The Holy Iron Chain Knights are also known as the Pretty Boy Knights, an alleged collection of bonbons into which the high nobles do not wish their heirs to take on a conflict or enroll them for safety. I love that he did that because it also showed that his character was comfortable self-depreciating. And there's something about a self-depreciating character that makes you feel that you can trust them more. If you're willing, it's not something, it's obvious psychology. But if you're willing to put yourself down as well, it makes people feel as if, well, you can trust them because they'll say to the truth to a fault. But what they don't understand is a person like that isn't always trustworthy because they pick and choose what you hear, and they've carefully chosen the items that they're willing to be self-depreciating on while hiding their worst faults. And that way they feel like you'll never look into them or try to find their worst faults because they've laid the faults out they want you to see already. And therefore you will only see them for those bad things. It's a very calculated and awesome thing. And I like that that's the vibe they gave this character.
Serpico feels so carefully written, and I really, really like how he comes across. Honestly, for all their faults, all three of the main Holy Iron Chain Knights come across really, really carefully written and considered.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to put my glasses on. You know what I discovered recently about reading glasses? You can see shit when you put them on. Things are brighter, bigger, rounder, and better.
Can I tell you a thing I realized about reading glasses?
Yeah.
I'm nearsighted instead of farsighted, so I don't need them, but I'm going to buy fake reading glasses because ritual helps you do stuff. And when I was editing and writing the script recently, I was like, I want to have reading glasses because it fits the vibe of what I'm doing. So I'm going to buy fake reading glasses so that I can have something to put on when I'm focused on writing.
Can I just tell you another thing?
Was that?
Glasses of any sort, as you know, makes a person look. I think it's 27% sexier. That's just I don't make the facts. I just report them.
I look so good in my glasses. Honestly, I look
Glasses
so
are a way to make
crazy
yourself
good.
Automatically look sexier.
Some people don't pull out their glasses. You gotta have glasses that suit you.
You gotta do a lot of work to get the right glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should get some fake reading glasses so that I can write better. Because I wanted to be there with my coffee at 2 a.m. Ralph, you just gotta have confidence. Confidence is everything.
But the other reason is if somebody is sapiosexual and they find people who are intelligent, sexually or romantically attractive, you immediately drag those people in.
No, I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with the sapiosexuals bragging about their kink on Maine. Stop being weird.
I don't even know about sapiosexuals bragging about that.
That's what they're doing. Whenever they're like, "Oh, I'm a sapiosexual," that shit's bragging about your kink on Maine. I'm sorry, nobody else is doing that. Sapiosexuals
just thinking that people who are smart are sexy. How's that a kink?
It's what you're into. If it's turning you on, sorry, that's a kink, and you got to stop bragging on Maine.
That would be like saying that your kink is you really like people with dark hair. That's not a kink. That's just a preference. Anyway, more importantly, the thing that I really like about being a glasses wearer is that when you put your glasses on, it tells your brain, hey, we just did this ritual, and this ritual says, it's time to focus up, bitch.
Clarith, I'm not going to prove what you said, but I am going to laugh at it.
Clarith, I was going to approve it.
Okay, you know what? Lav said so. Lav can do it. Now it's not my fault.
I thought it was pretty funny.
It is funny. I was laughing at it.
Oh, I hadn't even seen it. All right.
Yeah, you don't get to see stuff before it's approved.
I like it. Okay. Human who is with me.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you with me?
What's up?
So I think that if you can tell your brain, hey, we're about to do a thing, having fake glasses is good for you. Your dad
That's what I'm thinking.
Always did this weird thing where he'd make knives out of his hands and then he would take them to the side of his head and move them down towards the paper as if he was telling his brain, the only thing you can see is this paper. It worked too well and now he has no peripheral vision. And so now, I think that's one of the reasons that you should definitely get glasses. You're going to tell your brain, yo, what's up? We're doing a thing. Okay. Got this captured. It was kind of a weak capture in my point. I almost felt in like a roundabout way that he was trying to let her capture him. Does that make sense?
I don't think so though. I think he just fell unconscious.
No, I read it like 2 or 3 times and I said to myself, like, it almost seems like when he jumped over and then he said, oh, well, okay, let me just find the goddamn part. I didn't want to, but if I'm going to be all like,
no, maybe I've debated. I feel like Mura does not want our boy to kill a woman. And you know what? I gotta be frank. Sometimes a woman's trying to hit you with a sword and you got to kill her.
Okay, here it is. He's like, from head on, blah, blah, blah. And so then he said, here it is. What is he using me as a footstool? No, I'm going to go back.
Yeah, because he's that badass. He's that based.
I've got to seize the head, he says. What? From head on. He makes that decision that he's like, this is not good and it's getting pretty dark and I'm losing feelings in my limbs. What do? I can only push myself one more time. It's obvious that if I use my last strength to take this guy down, then I'll be surrounded and captured. In that case, I've got to seize the head. So he tries to get her from head on, gallantry. And then it was almost like when he got there, he realized, shit, I've miscalculated. Oh, well. And then people come at him and he uses his last energy to fight them instead of taking her on.
Oh,
like he could've.
Sinam's pointing out that it's something that I think is probably true, which is that she reminded him of Casca.
And that's what I was about to say. So I think that when he got there and saw her and stood in front of her, he could have taken her as prisoner right away. And if she had been a hostage, he could have done something. Instead, he fought the people that surrounded him. He didn't need to. He could have got behind her. No problem. No problem. And instead, he fights the people around her. And I think that was a Casca moment when he was just like, felt like he was standing there looking at somebody who was in leadership, who was also a woman who had been fighting. And he was like, well, if I got to be taken in, then I'll be taken in by her.
She's probably going to be just as nice as Casca. I can't wait to get along with her.
Well, I think he thought that they were going to have a lot more tea and strawberries than they did. I think he was a little bit surprised at how little tea and strawberries there were. To be fair, I'm on his side.
Couldn't help but notice that you're torturing me.
He was so badass about the torture, and I don't mean in the way that he didn't say a lot of stuff, because he's in a lot of pain already, so like he's like, whatever.
Who you think you could add to the pain I'm feeling? I've been stabbed so many times in the past week. My nerve endings are dead.
I've got so many arrows in me, like whatever, brother. But I think that also it felt like his character was intentionally not giving it to her because he could tell that she was sexually enjoying his pain, and he's like, I'm not participating in that. You're not forcing me to participate in you getting off on hurting me. And so it felt like he was, because he says something later on. And so it felt like he was just like, yeah, no. You're not hurting me and forcing me to participate in your kink. That's not how this is going to go.
Which, honestly, given the fact that he is a victim of SA, fucking makes sense that he doesn't want to be forcibly roped into someone's kink play.
And I really thought that it was in a more of a dramatic way. It wasn't just in a, I'm not going to do this because that's ridiculous, you gross bastard. It was more like, no. I was abused. I am not participating unwillingly in your sexual kink, you freak. And so he made a very concerted effort to not only not react in any pain way, but continue to mock and ridicule her, which is the opposite of sexual attraction. Like nobody is like, oh, when this person mocks and ridicules me, it really gets me going. And so
you say that
different kind. And so he is legitimately trying to get rid of her. He's
disarming it. Yeah.
And so by doing that, he's like, I'm not even going to allow you to enjoy the pain you're inflicting. So go fuck yourself. I'm going to make you aware that you're just putting harm on a person.
He says, go fuck yourself. And she says, all right, I will.
He says, absolutely. Take your sword out.
Jesus Christ.
And I don't mean that sword. I mean that giant one over there, because I'm about to do some very inappropriate things.
That was such. I mean, we're gonna be cutting ahead. I guess not even by that much, but God, what an uncomfortable series of events we have in this section, huh?
Series. It was so bad, so bad. And I've seen a lot of bad things in this one.
Manga panels you can feel.
Yeah, I didn't think that I was going to see a lot of things anymore, that I was going to be like, oh, that's so bad. And instead I was still like, Jesus Christ, no, I hates that. But before we move forward, I really enjoy the perspective they gave on how big his sword is by putting her beside it, because I think sometimes we lose sight of how big the sword is. And so I really appreciated that one little moment when she stood beside the sword.
Just putting a normal lady beside it makes you go, what the fuck?
Yeah, how does he lift that? It actually made that part much more interesting, and moving forward, it's going to be much more interesting, because when he's dragging it around, we often lose perspective of how big it's meant to be.
Yeah, it swung around so much that it feels like a cardboard prop sometimes. So having it leaning there, say like just the logistics of it started to come up. Like, how did people drag it in here for her? Because like she's not lifting that. Frankly, no other human.
How many people did it take to move it?
Maybe Ozan did it because he could maybe lift it. He could probably lift it. Just not wield it.
One person moved it. I think this is a multi-mover thing.
Yeah, just making you think about the logistics of it makes it feel bigger, and that is done by just having it propped up in there.
Yes, because then we're like, dude moves that and hits people and kills with it. This is a bit much for my brain to comprehend. How did you feel about the dove, like the angelical figure of the dove crucified, intertwined with like serpent shapes wrapped around a pole, being with the bell halat at the bottom? How did that make you feel when you realized that's what that weird ass symbol actually symbolized?
It's interesting because it feels like an evocation of ancient religious symbols that mean healing, like the staff of Hermes and that the Ankh.
100%.
But that from the fact that from the right angle, it's the symbol of the dark mark is so interesting because it's this idea of like the god that they worship being associated with symbols of healing and eternal life being the same one associated with like marking someone for sacrifice. There's something to that like I can't quite place what the depth is on it, but it's so neat.
Well, it's not only that, it's what we were talking about earlier with the idea that the same symbol seen from different ways means something completely different, and the same life led from a different angle and seen from different ways is lived and means something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that layering was really, really cool. And using it as a dove, but I was like, why you need to nail and crucify a dove? I'm going to be really for real with you right now.
Since we're talking about Catholics anyways, can I tell you a very funny thing I saw recently that I found just great that is relevant talking about the Holy See?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's watching YouTube shorts by a guy who's a Middle Eastern.
I changed my mind. Don't talk.
I
changed my mind again.
Okay. So it's a Middle Eastern guy in New York who just interviews other Middle Eastern guys in New York and asks them for a hot take. And then the funny ones he posts on his YouTube channel, just silly stuff. And he asked one dude, what's your hot take? And the guy goes, okay, so you know how people talk about cultural appropriation, right? And the guy goes, yeah. I went to Rome recently, and Rome has to be the like biggest perpetrators of cultural appropriation ever, right? You think about what Jesus knew of Romans. It was the guy who they paid taxes to, who then killed him. That was his only interaction in the Bible with the Romans. That was it.
Yep.
He told people to pay their taxes, and then they crucified him. They nailed him to a cross. And you go all over Rome, and they're like, yeah, we're the Jesus guys. And they have Jesus nailed to a cross, and the cross that killed him, and houses of Christ all over the fucking city. And they're like, yeah, us? Yeah, we're the Jesus guys. And how fucked up it is for the people who killed him and crucified him to be like,
can I just say something?
Yep.
Maybe it's not cultural appropriation. Just hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Like in 71 BCE, the Romans captured and crucified 6,000 people within 24 hours after the Spartacus rebellion and the Appian Way. They put 6,000 people. So maybe really they're just showing off their crucifixion talents, and they know that Jesus is the most popular dude who was crucified.
So here's the thing. My wife, when I told her this bit, pointed this out, and she went, look, it's not appropriating. They made the original.
Exactly. They're not appropriating. They're just like the most famous person that the most famous person we crucified is Jesus, so we're using him as the exemplar.
Yeah, she pointed out, it's like, you look at Jesus on a cross, like, you like that? Yeah, the original, we made that.
That was us.
We did that.
That's our thing. Very aesthetic. And so honestly, if you can, it was about 125 miles or 200 kilometers along the Appian Way in one day. I want to keep this in mind. This is in one 24-hour period. I tell this to Christians all the time. No, Jesus wasn't given a special treatment. In one day, Romans crucified 6,000 people and for 200 kilometers lined a section of road with their bodies on crucified.
It is genuinely crazy that the only way the Romans come up in the Bible is one where Jesus is like, hey guys, pay your taxes. If that's who's in charge, just pay your taxes. And two, they're like, we should kill you now. Like, what a jump. Imagine you're reading a book where the bad guy's only interaction with the good guy for the first part of the book is the good guy going like, he's not that bad. And then the book ends with that dude killing him.
You are not wrong about that.
Like, that's it.
You are not wrong.
The only time Romans are in the Bible is Jesus going, pay your taxes, and then the guys he says to pay your taxes to murder him.
You know what is one of the weirdest things about society is that there's no good guys. There's no society that you can be like, look at these good guys. You're like, nah.
Oh yeah,
nah,
it's
sorry. Let me
why
tell you a little story about them.
it's why your observation about any society should not be these are the good country, these are the bad country, because it'll make you have really, really bad opinions. It should be examining the moment and deciding in this interaction who the good guy or bad guy is. Is Ukraine a good country? There's no such thing. Who's the good guy in the Ukraine war? Ukraine. Done.
Yeah. Exactly. And if you could teach people that so there was no extreme left, like people are so afraid to look at the individual thing and hold the individual moment accountable. They're just like, let me take this into and don't get me wrong, I'm a history major. Like I love me some history and I love knowing where things come from, and it's possible that things build off of things. But yeah, you look at the history as it pertains to the moment that you're looking at. You don't just be like, let me suck up everything that's ever happened and put that out here. Well, guess what, Barbara? I don't care what my great-great-great-great-grandfather did. It doesn't have any bearing in this moment. If it did, we'd bring it in.
People so often... Hey, I here's the thing. If you tell someone that your observation of a situation has someone in the wrong, and they bring up, oh, but this land, and they start to mention anything more than 20 years ago, just ignore them. You know why? I guarantee you both of the countries they are talking about have a claim over 20 years ago then. Both of them do. There's no situation.
Did I tell you what I did to my neighbor? It's funny, but it's not, but it's funny. We have a house that's on a long-ass driveway. This is a long-ass driveway. There are 3 houses on this driveway. It is a half a kilometer long. It's long. But it's a driveway. How do I know? Because my address isn't for the driveway. It's for the road at the bottom of the driveway. Anyways, so my neighbors kept coming up here and letting his dog shit up here in the morning. And one time I was out in nothing but a bathrobe. It wasn't done up. I couldn't find the little tie. Sometimes this is
an interesting start to a story.
Thank you. Once upon a time. And so I was out there and the dog was like, oh, let me have a giant ass freak because there's another dog out here, and like rip your robe open that you barely cover while 2 men, because he had his best friend over, are standing in your driveway at 7:00 in the morning in the middle of the woods where no one can find you. Anyways, I flipped out on them and I was like, you need to not come up my driveway anymore. And we've been walking here for years and years, and we have always come here, and this was a pathway. And I said to them, yeah, and your house belonged to First Nations. And so should I let them know that you're opening your yard up for cultural work? Anyways, he didn't like that. Like,
it's just the thing. It's just the thing. Any justification that goes back to like, well, technically, it doesn't work. Technically we own this. You have to look at contemporary power dynamics that exist in the now, and that is the only way to evaluate things that will come to good conclusions.
I'm sorry, Charlie. We bought this thing. It's here now. It belongs to me. Quit coming and trying to look at me being tugged out of my yard by my dog because you're up here with your dog. Also, my dog's cuter. So take that. No, not slow mode. Out of slow mode. Fuck.
Slow mode's only a 3-second timer. It's fine. You'll be able to say lots of things. It's just a 3-second time.
I hate it. All right, let's move on. My feelings about the Belhalat, the dove, and the things, and the staff and the stuff is this. It does look like the symbol for healing and doctors and blah, 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 except for it isn't. And it does look a lot like the dove. The thing of purity is having its life force sucked dry to feed the thing of hate. And so I kept wondering, why is this the symbol for people who are on the good guy side? because it looks like the Belhalat is actually sucking the life force out.
Because I don't think it's the good guy at all. I think there's a reason the first time we saw it in the church was right after we saw the dark mark to make us realize they're one and the same. I think like because higher powers in this world. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I agree. But but you have to remember that they think they're the good guys, and they think that is a good guy symbol. And so then I went into etymology and say, like, okay, is it possible that this is supposed to show a reciprocal relationship where either the good guy at the top purifies the evil by sucking out the evil and moving it through its sacrifice to society, and or the evil is fed by people who think they are the good guys, but they are not, which is why there is twinning snakes, because it is a reciprocal and circular relationship between good and evil.
Can I tell you an insane cold shot prediction I'm making right here?
All right.
The Pope is a demon and Guts is going to have to kill him.
Okay, well, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Call that, because if you have a circular relationship between good and bad, it would make sense that the head is the head of both good and evil.
I think it's funny that because the parts where we talk about it are going to be cut out, YouTube viewers are going to be so confused why our chat for most of this has been talking about either Hitler or Jesus.
I'm going to make a promise to you right now.
Uh-huh.
If I ever steal someone or imprison someone, I am not going to put them in a sitting cage. I'm going to make sure they can stand. It's just more humane.
Can I promise you something? If I ever have to imprison anyone, I'm gonna really focus. Like, let's say, because this is Apocalypse, I'm in charge of their captive. I'm gonna really focus on a rehabilitation system. Be like, hey, how can we like move towards you being a productive member of society again? I'm gonna live by my virtues. If I die for my virtues, that's fine. But like, I'm gonna live by my virtues.
Then my promise works with your promise, because if you make somebody sit in a cage, there is something.
They're not going to work for you. They're not going to work with you. They're not going to get better.
Not ever. Who's ever going to go back on your side or help you out if you made them sit inside their prison? That's beyond. You need to feel embarrassed with your prisonering.
Honestly.
But once again, where would Guts be without Puck? Puck comes along and is like...
Guts would be dead many times over if not for your boy.
And so that's why when your boy says to him, no, I'm going to need me a little bit of thank you. And then Guts is like, I'll take him out later. I'm like, what? The only thing you can take out is your ego, bitch. Because without Puck, you ain't nothing. You're dead. Puck is pucking it up all over the pucking place. He's pucked off at you right now, and you deserve it. So I like that he was like, no, do a full telling me that Puck is the best.
I wonder, there's something interesting to think about, right? That we can say that a theme so far has been that to reach where he is, to reach the power he has, you have had Griffith need to cheat. He has had to make deals, bargain, become something he isn't, get power from a higher source. Guts also could not do what he does without a higher power, without Skull Knight, without Puck, without magic interceding. The difference being, and Zod at one point, the difference being these things have chosen to help him because of who he is and the choices he makes. And what that says, that he still has a relationship with the divine, but is it that he has earned the divine? Is it that the divine is something, the mystical is something that has respect for him? I think there's something thematic there, that Guts, like Griffith, is only accomplishing what he can with the help of the mystical, but he's not sacrificing his humanity for it. He's not making deals. It's just happening because of who he is.
I would say that Puck has more humanity than he does.
I mean, sure, but like, he is still mystical. He is still the otherworldly.
Well, we know that because she couldn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm going to determine whether someone is my friend or not. Can you see Puck? No, you suck.
It makes me think about, or Puck's statement about people who can't see him makes me realize, right? Puck just hangs out at cathedrals sometimes. Because he doesn't
Yeah.
say, I'm pretty sure a city cathedral couldn't see me. He's like, yeah, when I visit city cathedrals, they can't see me at all. Like, this dude's just been hanging out in city cathedrals. Like, I can steal as many church wafers as I want, and nobody knows.
I'm not gonna lie. If there was a place that I could go and I couldn't be perceived, I'm exhausted by people perceiving me. I would love to go to a place of non-perception.
It's funny to imagine he's there and a kid comes there for mass and the kid is like, Mommy, an elf. And Puck's just like, what up, motherfucker? And the parents are like, kid, stop being dumb. That's literally a candle. And the kid's like, no, Mommy, there's an elf on the candle. And the elf's like, what up, motherfucker? And the mommy's just like, I'm so tired. Can you just not?
You know what was not funny is how many dogs were killed in the making of these chapters.
I mean, they were bad dogs.
No, they were bad dogs. They were abandoned wild dogs that then got possessed.
Once they were possessed, bad dogs.
It doesn't matter. It broke my little heart. But you know what's the very best thing in the world is when Puck grabs her lip and like waves in front of her face. Funny as shit. That was some good comedic moment.
And she's just like, stop poking me, Mr. Guts. And he's like, please, Puck, stop. I don't want this to get even worse. Just stop.
And I like that she's like, why is he constantly muttering to himself? And then it's another reminder that it's very, very, very possible that our great good boy Guts can be a elf boy, because then there's sometimes people don't notice an elf right in front of them since it doesn't capture their attention. They can't even recall it happening.
You are never giving up, huh?
Never gonna give you up.
I want to say something. Someone was like, okay, but if you look early on, there's so many characters with pointy ears. It was just an aesthetic choice. I can tell that that's someone who's not a writer, because you don't know how writing works, which is very often you will make something up and it's just an innocuous detail. And then as the story progresses, change your mind and make it more significant. There is a non-zero chance that even if the elf thing is important, that it wasn't intended to be at first, and that shifted over time. That's really, 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 really common for writers to do, is to create something innocuous as just something that's part of the story, and then realize, oh, the story is more interesting if I change this, and now it means something. So, like,
especially when it's over a long period of time.
Yeah. Like, that's such an absolutely normal thing to do. So I think if you're ever like, well, if we look early on, there's evidence that this wasn't always intended, that really is rarely evidence. And I think the Peacock story being so about Guts feels like a statement. Also, I don't know what this means, but I got a comment that's like, everyone who's saying that the elf thing doesn't come up later, that the ears definitely don't matter, is insane, because it definitely does, but I can't get into it without spoiling. Yeah. Your chat's gaslighting you. Yeah. So thank you, believer. I'm excited to see what he means and see what more evidence there continues to be that all of you have been gaslighting us about.
They were like, they're either gaslighting or they don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
The moment when the part of her the next morning, because the fight is whatever it is, it's the same thing.
It's cool, yeah. Guts fight.
A bunch of bad guys come out.
Like always,
he kills a horse, which is crushing, but it's another fight.
It's a really bad horse.
It wasn't. It was possessed. It's not the horse's fault that it was possessed.
This is the first horse that deserved to die. The horse should have had more faith in itself if it didn't want to be possessed.
Okay, well, here's the problem. The horses didn't know about faith.
The horse should have believed in its own will more.
Oh, Jesus fucking.
The horse should have been self-actualized. It should have reached nirvana.
Do you think, like I think, that if she can't see Puck after seeing all those devils, even though she understood that there's certain things that are, like blah, 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 religion.
But she didn't even really see the devil. She was like, I can't even understand what's happening. I just feel so afraid. Like, she knew there was something that was in front of her and she was reacting to it, but she couldn't even figure out what it was.
Don't you think that if she was there right now with all these things happening around her, that she should be able to see it? Like, at some point of so much hell and hatred and him actually cutting things in half, it should break her stupid barrier. Because I just felt like partway through, it would have been more interesting to me if partway through this battle, she was all of a sudden like, what the shit is this? Like that would have made her character more interesting to me.
Maybe, but I think that can come later. I think it will, likely when she becomes a demon, because I think that's going to happen, in my opinion. Make it a prediction. Who cares if I'm wrong? Demon e-girl. But also, like, I think...
No, I wanted her to see it now. I thought it would be way more interesting if she was less of the naive titties out and more of the knowledgeable...
Terrified at realizing something is unreal.
Yes. Yes.
I get it. I feel like, here's my take. We already saw people shuddering in the face of the unreal a lot with the Hawks. Guts was in it. The first time you saw Zod was shaken and broken by it for a moment, and the rest of the Hawks, when they saw these things, had the same reaction. I think this was the more interesting version because we haven't seen it before. I think it's nice to explore the one that we haven't seen for now and have the barrier broken later, because I think we haven't played with someone who truly denies the unreality they're seeing.
What is she doing during the horse moment? That doesn't even make sense. She sees something. Something is creeping up on her, and she sees it. And then the horse pushes her down on the ground and tries to sexual assault her.
It's exactly. Oh my God! Wait! What if this goes beyond a psychology thing? Right? Think about it. The church does worship the god of void. That's why the dark sign is the same, right? What if genuinely part of the way the god of the void works is if you accept what it says the worldview is? Because the lesson is supposed to be that by giving your beliefs, your will, your dogma to a higher power, you are blindable, controllable. You don't understand your truest self. You can be taken over. What if, to make the followers vulnerable, very specifically, the god of the void makes its true faithful, those who truly take the dogma, incapable of understanding its creatures and its miracles, so that they are vulnerable. Like, by giving yourself to it, by earnestly opening your heart to the god of the void, it owns you enough that you just can't. You are just a vessel for the god of the void, and perceiving its actions for what they are is impossible.
So kind of like also, she's unable. Someone said Catholic dogma earlier, but it's also just like everyone. It's that cognitive dissonance of not being able to perceive what is right in front of you because you have so brainwashed yourself
symbolized
to one
as
side that you're no longer able to see the possibility of another side.
But symbolized as a real magical effect, that those who serve the church's dogma strictly enough that they have opened their heart to the god of the void and accepted it are actually barred from understanding it.
When we put meaning to it like that, it's better. But I'm not sure if it's how he meant it, but I'm gonna...
It feels like it must be, because she's seeing and reacting and then immediately being like, I don't know what's happening. So it feels like for her to see it, and
to her they just look like dogs, and they just look like the horse. They don't look like demon dogs and demon horse.
Maybe.
Well, because she's being tipped over by a horse, laying on her back.
Oh, someone pointed out something that I love. Serpico, the only one who can see all this, is drawn with closed eyes, and Fornese, who can't see it at all, is drawn with open eyes. That's a really fun little dissonance.
He closes his eyes to it intentionally because he doesn't want to see it, which is...
But he does.
Cool.
He's like,
and because of that,
cute little elf you got there.
Yeah. Page 71 of 242 in book 17.
Sure. Yep.
There is a... Well, Lav can put it in because I sent it. It's the one with Frenese and her own...
E-girl paladin.
Shadow. And her own shadow that he did as a yin and yang, the dark and the light of herself. And I disagree with him because he's done a yin and yang here where it's saying things and it says there is nothing at all inside of you. The things that you can boast of yourself and others are just trifling. You're an insignificant woman because you fear knowing you're nothing. You're just drunk on God's authority, which is super true. And that's true of everyone. All that exists within you is desire. You want to defile and be defiled. Okay, so I think it's done as a yin and the yang, the dark and the light, also of comedy and tragedy, because one side is laughing and one side is crying. But I was like, but is that light side actually light? Because that's the side that's denying. And so the side that is denying itself, in my opinion, then would be the dark side. So they should have almost drawn her in an opposite angle where they made her, the real her, in kind of a shadow, and then the dark side in kind of a light being cast through or something, because it's the side that knows itself that should be light and the side that doesn't know itself that should be dark.
I think what's interesting then,
the trouble he was in there, because artistically you've already drawn them in a certain way, but yeah.
Which is why I like that Guts is drawn in darkness all the time, but it's the thing that makes him strong in this world is that he accepts what is wrong with him, what is dark about him, and is like, yep, that's true. I'm an angry, violent boy whose only skill is killing people.
Her going on the sword, though, that her going on the sword was
uncomfortable. Yeah, it was. It
wasn't just uncomfortable. I was just like, I don't need this one. I'm sorry, I didn't need this one. I know we put Puck in there looking very, very cute and very, very surprised by how gross this is, but I didn't need this one.
I did love that Guts' reaction, instead of being horrified or anything, was just like, can we fucking not? I'm so tired. Like, I'm so fucking tired. Can you stop?
When he goes, look, if you're back to normal, then get the hell off of me. No exclamation mark. No nothing.
I think genuinely how fucked up it was worth it for me for Guts' reaction, because I loved his reaction so much. I loved him being like,
I didn't like it because I couldn't focus while she had put the middle on her middle. I was like, can you lift her off and throw her, please? Because I can't, as a woman, watch this anymore. I can't. You need to chuck her off, man. It's killing me. All I can be is like, ouch. So, but it was the exact reaction that you would expect from somebody who was tainted, when the reaction was for her to be like, kill him. And the dude's like, you saw that he killed everyone, right? Like, you saw that I literally can't. What the fuck are you actually talking about?
Like genuinely, lady, what do you think I'm gonna do? But I also love, he is so precise in his words that he talks through this to get Guts' guard actually kind of down, and then out of nowhere quick draws him, cuts Guts, and then he's like, all right, I'm going, knowing the exact thing he can say to make a man this tired just accept that he got stabbed and let this dude leave. He's so good at talking.
Yes, exactly. And so he goes, again, you have caused her to cry, my commander. Don't look at me. You just heard the situation, and here I will ask you to pardon for now. If you will be willing to overlook things, I guess I owe you one. Yes, well, cut your face. And then he goes, nice draw style. You as well. Just as expected. Can you tell me after this?
Yeah. You go.
I was like, when he turns around and he goes, where Alpha now? You too, little one. And he goes, he's tricky. First of all, did you say to yourself, oh, we're going to see this boy a lot?
Oh, he's a deal. But fact that
this boy's going to be a problem.
I forgot what it was he said, but that's what I was talking about with it feeling like precise language, was by saying just as expected, he gets to pretend, oh, I knew I wouldn't get you, while having genuinely tried to kill Guts and have Guts' guard be down enough to let him just be like, yeah, I guess leave, because he comes across as, oh, I wasn't trying to kill you because I knew you would stop it because you're just that good, but he had a fucking chance to kill him, tried, and gets away with it because he's that good at talking. This smarmy bastard.
Just as expected, which is what I was talking about earlier, when it's that person who appears like they're just coming off the cuff, but in actuality, every move is so well planned. But her reaction to me was just trying to talk about it was everything in their characters that we've been talking about, and the problem with religions. Not the good stuff with religion. Because here's the thing that people always forget. Like, I talk about the problems with religion because I think that religion has been used as a weapon, and that religion has now become the sword against humanity's neck. But there are places in which people use religion for community and help and love and care, and to lift people up. It's just that they're not the ones who are in strength and power now. It's the pieces of shit. And she is the epitome of that problem of religion. As she comes out, she understands she is the one who went over to him. She is the one who put herself on top of him. And rather than taking any kind of credit for her own actions, she immediately is like, kill him so no one else knows I'm capable of this.
And because of her inability to face her own darkness, she was possessed, right? Because of her rigid worldview, she can't accept that she was possessed. It seems impossible and doesn't fit what she believes in. So she thinks she did that she was overcome with lust and did that. When in reality, I mean, sure, her lust was like used as leverage against her, but yeah, you were possessed. You weren't in charge of yourself. But she isn't able to realize it. So instead, it makes her insecure. She's like, oh no, that guy knows I'm a secret pervert. So now he has to die. And then to save face, can't accept it. And like, this is so much about inability to accept things as they are, weakening you as a person.
Not just inability to accept things as they are, inability to not just accept, but to ego. Inability to put your ego aside and work for the best of humanity.
The reason I think it's an ability to accept is because ego plays into that umbrella, because having an ego is part of being unable to accept things. But like it's on so many levels, because it's her inability to accept her flaws because of ego. It's her inability to accept magic and the miracles she's seeing because of dogma. Like, all of her flaw comes back to things needing to be a certain way.
I would agree that, but on the other hand, the reason that I say the ego isn't so important here is she doesn't even know any of those things exist. So she's just working off of the data of, she thinks that she made a choice to go and sit on his sword. And rather than ever having that get out, she can't have anyone perceive her any differently than she currently is perceived because of ego. She doesn't even know. Like, the irony of it is that because she isn't willing to accept things beyond her own perception, she doesn't know that she would have been more innocent. But she does have a set of data. And when she takes that set of data out, she works on the best of her own ego, refuses to be taken down a notch in front of people that she wants to respect her. And therefore she says, you got to kill him so no one ever finds out what I am and who I am. And so I can pretend I'm not that way, and I can continue to ignore any side of me and act in a way that isn't me.
I agree.
I can choose to just have one side of me.
She is not a good character, but she feels very precisely and well written.
Yeah. I don't enjoy her as much as I hoped. When I first met her, I was like, oh, I love this character. I don't now.
I mean, when you first meet her, all you have is that she absolutely serves, which I think still true. Just definitely,
her looks become uglier once you've met her and hung out with her.
I'm not even talking about looks. I'm just talking about like vibe, the way she carries herself, the aesthetic.
I'm talking about vibe. In her looks, I'm talking about like the whole vibe. Now she's no longer out here as the same kind of character that I used to have. And now she's just this like in denial, pathetic character who can't even have the strength to look in her own truthful mirror. And so now I'm just like,
absolutely,
kind of meh for me.
That's just
absolutely. Serpico, on the other hand, is like
Serpico stocks are up.
I didn't meet him before. I didn't care about him before, but I gotta tell you,
no, we had him last time, and you hated him. You were like, "Oh, fuck this guy."
Oh my god, that's true. Yeah, he mattered so little that I was like, meh.
You didn't like him. You were like, eh.
And he said some shit, and
all he did was say something. I don't think he was saying something like sexist himself, but he was saying something sexist about how knights behave, and you were like, meh, fuck him.
Yeah. But he is a more interesting character.
I think she's plenty interesting. It's just she's one of those characters who I think has to have a destructive arc because of her, because like this is a series about self-actualization, and if someone is a lesson about the inability to recognize things about themselves, they can only have a destructive arc. Like this is a character who is going to degrade because like the perspective she's representing is denial, and in a story about self-actualization, that's not a character who has a positive arc.
Yeah. I'm kind of done with her. I hope she gets more interesting and less mid.
I think she'll be interesting. I find her very interesting, just bad.
I don't. I find her bad, and I don't find her interesting anymore.
Damn.
She sat on the sword, and I was like, honey, you're not the one or the two. And that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Poor girly getting got.
You know what? You're no Naomi. Let me tell you that right now. Oh my god, I can change my color? Ooh.
Oh, he
What
said to
color am I
Ozan,
right
hey,
now?
Ozan, some of those lovely ladies are probably widows, eh? Yeah, and Ozan was like, fuck off.
What color am I now?
What do you mean,
Let
what
me
color are you?
I don't know what color I am in chat, and I want to know. Because I can change it, I just found. Oh, I'm red? What the shit?
It's like one of the top 2 favorite colors.
I'm gonna need you to not. Oh, I'm different colored. I'm brown for you? Come on, E-Killer. You're killing me.
Finding the colors
Why
for
don't
this
I get
is
to
so
choose what
goddamn
color
hard.
people see me as? Why don't I get to choose? That's stupid.
I
wanna choose.
don't make the rules.
Was anyone ever blaming you? Come on now. Come on. You're better than that. Okay. Are we ready to do all the things in this stuff? Do you want me to open the show notes so that Lav isn't like, rah?
I mean, yeah, but someone's got to count us in for the plug is the thing.
Okay. That's not my job.
No? Whose job is it? Who's supposed to do that?
Paladin is canting is down from 30, which feels like
It feels like a big. That feels when we've asked for it like a big start. But hey, you know what? I don't make the rules. Dude, that's where we're at now.
Okay, let me see. Show notes. Did we do a prediction today?
We did. It was going to be favorite minor character.
Oh, I'm very excited about that because I have a favorite minor character. I wonder if people are going to consider it a minor character.
You want to know what the choices were?
Yeah, but this is why I said you shouldn't make this the poll because Mama's already chosen her favorite minor character and it's not going to be on there.
I don't even know what the choices are. Are we supposed to hear them and choose from the list?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do that in a minute.
That's
Hey there, YouTube. It's me, Mama
what?
Drawk. I hope you're really enjoying things here. I got an idea. Why don't you press like? Why? Because like is nice. Be nice. You're a human. Doing nice things piles up and it becomes a nicer thing. And then eventually you'll get to Puck's version of heaven instead of guts. Also, what's up? How's life treating you? Times are hard. That's why you know I see you. I see you in the way where I don't see you, but I know you exist and you're out there. I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. If you want to subscribe, then subscribe. Why not subscribe? Subscribing is subscribing, and why wouldn't you subscribe when subscription is subscribed? Duh.
Dude,
that's all I have
so
to say
true.
about that. Come on in for Patreon, do some things and some stuff. We're going to start watching shows with our humans again.
I'm doing a live read today in half an hour after we end.
That's what Drawk is doing. Drawk is live reading like this. I'm Drawk, I live read, and you can hear me. I'm live and I'm reading.
That's how it sounds.
So that's all I have to say. The last thing I have to say to you is, listen, people on YouTube, listen, lean in. We have a lot of really cool people coming on soon with a lot more subscribers than us. And that's cool because Jimmy Crackcorn and I don't care, but I'm really looking forward to you coming along from the journey. We're going to tinfoil talk our way through life. It's a great show. We're re-going through the entire One Piece because I haven't read it in a long time, so we want to catch me up so I don't lose anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Doc, do you want to plug your Tuesday art?
Yes, but we're changing what it is. because my deck came in and I need a tax write-off. I mean, because I'm really excited to talk about Magic the Gathering and game design. I've done a few game design
Yes, but
streams.
you're
where I
going to
talk
do
about-
this in future.
You're right. Different thing. I am starting this Tuesday. This Tuesday, I'm starting with this. Hey, guys, if you remember the Patreon, is it the special squishies tier and up? What do we decide? We debated.
No,
we debated.
it's
Patron of the Arts and Up?
So, yeah.
Okay, Patron of the Arts and Up. If you are tier Patron of the Arts and Up, there is a chat room on the Patreon where you can submit your drawings, and I'm going to open up by doing maximum of 1 hour of art critiques where I'm going to go over people's art for Tuesday streams. So I'm going to be starting this Tuesday before I talk about the new Magic decks. Thank you for reminding me. So if you want to submit anything, go on the Patreon, go on to the Drawk art critique submission chat that I unfortunately have been slipping my mind, but I have made reminders for it, so I'm not going to forget this time, as Lav just helped me out to not do immediately, because I actually do love doing art critique. It's something I miss from art classes. I call myself self-taught, but I took a few art classes, just a couple, not much, in college, and art critique is really fun. It's so helpful for learning, and I am going to do my absolute best to teach everybody who submits as much as I can, understanding where they're at with their artwork and giving them a direction for what to study next. All right, please submit.
The most fun thing about being a Patreon, the big Patreon, the top tier, they get to come live on stream. Once a month, we do a stream where they come on and do the show with us, and we answer hilarious questions.
That's next week.
That's
next week.
And the first video for that just got posted, and it was hilarious.
It was funny as shit. I was like laughing and laughing. I watched it.
Cricket
like
did a really good job on the edit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Cricket did. Can we do the thing? So I don't know who the minor character is. We'll pick like who my favorite minor character and who your favorite is.
And then if yours is not from the ones we're given, okay.
And we'll do that at the very end.
Very end. Okay.
And then no, we should do it first because then I'll
we've been
pick
told
the
very
one
end.
that wasn't on that list. That's weird. Come on.
We've been given an order.
Hey mods, thank you so much. You rock. I'm gonna sing this song for you. You're a mod. You rock. Your name isn't Todd. You have socks. I enjoy you. Thanks a lot. I wrote that.
I gotta zoom out so I can understand this pic I've drawn.
And now I pick a number between 1 and 31, and then you open things to think a special squishy.
Okay. Do it. 1 and 31.
I have so many questions for the crew. I can't wait for next Sunday for the crew chats because I have so many questions for the crew.
They want you to send them early so they can think about them, by the way.
Oh, I hate it when they think.
You said last time you had a few you wanted them to think about.
You did.
That was from your mouth.
Your mouth said
you
that.
Gotta know that you gotta know that the people.
Well, thank you, Raph.
The person who is me in the past doesn't know the person who's me now. We're
guys.
strangers.
I want you to know. My brain is so cooked from working on this script for a week that I just went to find the list of Patreons to thank the 1 to 30 special squishies. And do you want to know what's up, guys?
1 to 31.
I clicked on the wrong Discord server 3 times looking for it and was like, "Where's?" All right, we got it now.
Can I pick today's thing? It's 31. I pick 31.
Thank you, Trekker. Thank you for your support, Trekker. You help keep the lights on. You help keeping us doing what we're doing. You are so appreciated. Trekker.
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 How's it spelled? Does it have a C or no C?
No, it's Trekker. 2 Ks.
Whoa. That was unexpected. I am glad I asked.
2 Ks? The maximum amount of Ks.
Do you also want to thank the crew?
Oh, actually, orange kicks. Hey, guys, I changed it to orange instead of red, and it looks better. This looks so good. That's way better. Let's
try more colors. That's way better. That's way better.
Why is orange so good? Let's try some more.
Color theory, man. It looks really good with the blue and with the brown, because brown is orange. Ugh. The other one looks like Christmas. Orange looks like delight.
Orange is orange is kind of the best.
The bright green was good, but orange is the best.
Okay.
I'm not done.
You get to start. Okay, but
here we go.
Here we go.
Hey, thank the whole crew. You.
Thank the whole crew. I thought you were there. Okay, I thank the whole crew. Hey, crew. Thank you, Dancing Viru, Dark Akuro, Draco Meme, Icy Knives, NX Love, It's Berry7, Shane Conley, and Ariel Dean. Did we expand the crew slots? I think we might have.
Dr. Jack.
And Dr. Jack. I skipped Dr. Jack. You're right. And Dr. Jack. Why do I keep skipping Dr. Jack? I keep skipping him by accident.
You need to not be rude to Dr. Jack. He's
I
my
need to
sweet
stop
little
being
buddy.
rude to Dr. Jack.
Hey, Dr. Jack, you're mama's sweet little buddy.
I'm sorry, Dr. Jack. I'm not intending to be rude to you. I'm just losing my mind.
Okay. Can I also say that I forgot to do this on YouTube? So you're going to have to do a thing. Hey, YouTube, make sure that you come out for Tinfoil Piece, but also our Mugiwara no Goofy is coming out this Thursday or Friday. He came on. That
It was so
stream
good. It was so much fun. It was so funny.
Freaking hilarious.
Unfortunately, a lot of the funny parts have to be edited out because they weren't at all relevant.
Yeah, you guys don't. If you guys ever wanted to watch a VOD, if there was ever a VOD to watch, it's that one because we're editing out a bunch of shit. We just went off. Okay. And we're reading to the end of chapter 137 next in Berserk, which will be fun. Okay, I want to talk about, let's do our top 5. Are we ready?
I'm ready. I love top 5.
Protagonist tier, protagonist.
Protagonist tier,
No.
protagonist. Oh yeah, we have to review Mr. Guts. Mr. Guts Berserk this week. He was eepy.
He was EP. You want to know what I'm giving him? And I don't know if you're going to be here for it, but it's a C+.
I was thinking a C+. It's not like he was bad. It's just the man was
Really?
EP. Yeah, look, he was EP, guys.
Not only was he EP, but he was just kind of like doing everything he did was something he's done before. Like
Yeah.
it didn't feel new or fresh. Keeping it new,
Well,
keeping it real.
I mean, I guess he hasn't taken a woman hostage before, but his heart wasn't even in
Did
it.
that feel new to you? Like it didn't
He-
feel new.
It didn't feel new. You're right. I don't think he specifically done that, but it felt the vibe. And like,
This was the same vibe as usual.
I'm gonna be real. He also did a bad job taking her hostage. He forgot to ask
Didn't
any
he
of the
take
questions
Jill
he intended to.
hostage?
What?
And he also,
Didn't he take Jill hostage?
yeah,
I thought Jill just showed
Yeah.
up with him.
no, he did. He stood behind Jill, grabbed her around the neck, and walked
No,
backwards.
you're
even though he
right.
didn't
You're right.
kill her.
You're right. He has taken a hostage before. He did judo chop her,
Told
which is
you,
new.
Nothing was new. Nothing's new. Wah wah.
It wasn't bad. It just like
No.
Guts was an
For his
EP boy.
protagonist moments, he was a C+.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not in. Sorry, Guts, you're at a C+ this week, but you know what, buddy? You know, C+ says you really showed up and you did the thing. Okay. Can I do my top character first?
Yes,
It's
that is what we do when I make the when I choose the art. That's how we do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I choose top character. And my character is Puck. I choose Puck. And I don't think how anyone could argue with me. Puck was on fire.
I think there are not going to be many arcs where I am going to not fight you on Puck as number 1. And this week,
But it's this one.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you're right. I get it. Like, here's the thing.
Yep.
I think Puck technically did more last time, but also the other characters felt more impactful last time overall.
Yes.
Like,
this one is Puck's moment.
this one is Puck. This one's Puck. He got his friendship moment with Guts.
But not only that, like
You know what? Wait,
brought
I'm
in the
bumping up my Guts
humanity.
review to a B just because he called Puck and gave him a bed.
Oh, that's right. And then he said you can stay in the bag and this is your place.
Yeah,
You know what, Drawk? That
I
was
forgot about that.
emotionally new for him.
I
That's
forgot
a
about
B.
that.
You
That
are
is
not
new.
wrong.
That is new. That is new.
You are not wrong. You
Slight
have
bump up.
absolutely
If it
bumped up.
weren't for that,
I
C+.
want to tell you, for me, he hit B by that 1%. Like
Yes.
he's on the edge of B.
Yes.
Yes.
Look,
Okay.
you got a 2%
All right.
bump in your grade, bud. Good job.
Good for you. Okay, what are you picking as the next one?
Number 2 is Azan. Azan. I think he was just compelling and fun, and I love how seriously he takes what he's doing and what a good boy he is.
You're talking about are you Bridge Boy?
Bridge boy. It's Bridge boy.
I would put Serpico, but I'm going to put Serpico at number 3.
I think it's so debatable which one's a number 3 and which one's a number 2, but the issue is you can't put them together because they're not good
Nope.
because of their interactions with each other. They're good independently. It's
Nope.
just really debatable who adds more because they were both really good.
Yeah, I loved Serpico. I would put him at 2, but I could see putting your boy at the Bridge Troll at number 2.
I think both were just really good dudes. Like, I think both
And I asked you to pick
great
number
additions.
5 because we had somebody who said to me this one time, "This is the first time you ever went in full order," and I was really upset by that.
Number 5 is the E-Girl Paladin. Look, she wasn't the best, but I did enjoy what she added to the story, especially because she added a new perspective on how magic works in this world. I felt like it was fresh, and it's the beginning of a terrible arc that is going to be her destruction, because you can't be in a Nietzschean world and be actually defined by your refusal to self-reflect and have a positive arc.
Okay. Ugh.
Well,
What's the name of the dude, the Scottish dude with the kilt running around without underwear?
What?
Azan.
Yeah.
That's Azan. That's Bridge
What?
Knight. That's Bridge Toll.
No, Bridge Troll is. Oh yeah, never mind. Oh God, no. There is no number 4.
What? Okay, so I guess my girl is number 4.
No, I'm gonna find a number 4. Here was my problem with it. Like, honestly, she should be number 5. Maybe even number 7. Who am I gonna put in number 4? Is there anyone worthy?
There is Skull Knight. Skull Knight ate an egg.
Yeah, do you remember how long Skull Knight was in for? Like, I really want you to think about it. Who else?
2 pages. He was there for 2 pages.
You know what? This is how I feel about you, Farnese. I am going to put the Skull Knight in at number Farnese. I'm going to put Skull Knight in at number 4. He was there for 2 fucking pages and ate an egg.
On my list, she would be number 4. In my list, she'd be number 4. But I felt as though you would not like that, and I wanted you to get to walk away enjoying our list, which is why I made her number 5.
I appreciate that. You also made it number 5 because when that person said we went in order, it was very upsetting. It was
we've got an order more than once, but it's not common.
It's terrible too. It feels like we're just like, oh, we're just people who go in order like some linear twits. Okay.
Trust me, you guys don't go in order. Trust me.
It's happened though. It's not like it's never happened.
Just in general.
It's Skull Knight. It's Sexy Skull Daddy. It's the Great Void. It's the Gibberly Goo. It's the Shoes Filled with Eggs boy. He is number 4.
Dutchie, you're getting it wrong. Skull Knight doesn't say that. He says, I would like an egg in these trying times. He's not offering it to anyone. The eggs are for him only.
Trying times.
The eggs are just for him.
You know what he says?
Yep.
Sometimes to get through the difficulties, you need yourself some hell protein. High in cholesterol and guilt.
Yeah. You merely adopted the darkness, Batman.
I eat it.
Okay, wait. I think I might like it better with the blue and pink instead of the blue and yellow.
Like that's obvious. The pink is immaculate.
I think the pink looks good for her.
You know what? I'm going to give you one of these. I don't even know what they are. Here you go. Have one of these. I don't know what they are. This is what... Whoa! I'm going to give you this.
I don't know what's happening.
There you go.
I don't know what's happening.
There you go. I did that.
You cheered. Wow. Now we need to talk about our favorite drip/monster.
Oh, I know my favorite drip.
Yep.
Am I allowed to pick Skull Knight again?
I think no, but I think because he's not in a new outfit, but I think you're allowed to pick Skull Knight's horse that I've never noticed has a fucking figurehead.
It's so cool. It's like a giant shield / sexy necklace. It's a shield necklace. It's a sheckless. And I here for the sheck. You know what? I'll pick Skull Knight's horse. That horse he is the one in the 2. He is just absolutely putting it all on the shelf and then taking it off and dancing in it. Good for you, horse.
I'm going to take the Beast of Darkness. The Beast of Darkness looks fucking great. I think it's terrifying. It's got such a simple design. It's sleek. I like his little slight shapeshifties. I like him. I like the Beast of Darkness when it's a spooky wolf. It was good. It was good.
Wow, they didn't do a lot of good outfits in here. If that's where we're going now.
I think the Beast of Darkness looks cool.
Yeah,
Look,
I'm sorry.
I did E-Girl Paladin for her cool
so
armor last
real.
time, so I can't do it again. I think it does look great. It's just also like, we done there.
Am I not allowed to pick in my favorite monster that we're doing? Am I not allowed to pick Skull Daddy? Is he not allowed to be picked?
We pick Drip or Monster, and no, you've done him he is both, and you've done him for both like twice now. Unless he has a new outfit, you're stuck.
Why do we have to pretend that anyone is cooler than Skull Daddy? Why do we have to keep pretending this bullshit? If he is on the pages, he is. If you
keep putting him on, we'll just rule him out, and make him assumed like Guts is. The reason Guts doesn't participate on the tier list too.
I feel like you are putting out a lot of Skull Daddy hate right now. Skull Daddy is my everything. He is the thing. He and Puck should be besties, is what should be happening. I feel bad for Puck that he can't ride with his true best friend, Skull Daddy.
Do we do anything else?
Moment of pain.
Moment of pain. I know what yours
joy.
might be. Yeah, I think I know what your moment of pain might be.
Oh, god damn beat me out, but that fucking sword crotch rocking was, Jesus God, absolutely horrifying.
You can feel it reading it, and it's bad.
So bad.
It's so bad.
I hate the crotch sword moment. I'm gonna call it the crotch. No, I can't call it that.
Yeah.
I was gonna call it the clit slit.
Oh no!
No.
You heard me. I said it. I put it out in the world.
I'm fucking dead. I'm fucking dead, y'all. Good lord.
I don't know what to tell you. That's what I kept thinking when I was watching it. It was killing me. It was killing me, Smalls. Like, couldn't even.
I'm thinking, and it's hard to think of another moment that actually hurt me this section, because I feel like all the hurt was concentrated in that. I'm gonna say the bad horse is my moment of pain. I don't like that horse.
Yeah, Aturi, you're just out here being a hater all day, man. If you don't like what I'm vibing with, that's fine. That's fine. I'll watch you.
Moment of joy.
You can't say the hating of
moment of joy. I'm going to seal it. Guts giving the bed to Puck. You stole the bad moment. Now I'm giving you the one where you have to think about something because I took the obvious.
That now?
Yeah, I just had to think of a new one when you took the obvious moment. So there you go.
Oh my god, I feel devastated. That's the best moment. Might be the best moment in the entire series so far, if we're going to be honest.
It's really sweet.
Like in the joyful moments, name another moment more joyful.
I think there's been more joyful moments. Like
I disagree. That was my most joyful.
Guts
moment.
and Casca at the waterfall together.
No, nah.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to hear a twisted moment of joy?
Sure.
I found the moment that Serpico was like, dude, I can't kill him. Did you see him? Like, the fact that you're trying to make me kill this person is ridiculous. I found that to be a real moment of joy.
I honestly love that. But then it turns out it was luring him into a moment to try to kill him, and then was like, I knew you wouldn't die. You're so cool. Bye, buddy.
It's still a moment of joy. It's still a moment of joy.
Dude, Serpico's great.
Serpico's an amazing character already. I think I did despise him when I think about it.
You did. You really disliked him. His first introduction was being like, someone pointed out what it was. I couldn't remember. It was him being like, hey, some of those pretty women are probably widows. Should we go hit on them, Azan? And Azan was like, fuck off, you bitch. No.
I think that he was like, we should take them is why it made me so mad. But I think now that Serpico was just trying to be intentionally obtuse.
I think so. I think you're right that he tries to have this vibe of being like contemptible and underestimated.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so. He tries to come
Ozan-
off in one way.
Ozan doesn't even know he can fight. And Ozan's like the guy here.
Yeah.
Oh, Serpico's opened an attack, and that's why Fernese hit. Interesting. I didn't even realize. That is cool.
Oh, I did not, aesthetic. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
I love
Mr.
it when
Guts
people add
Berserk.
little details. So you're going along and you're like, I think
I
this.
did
And then their
miss
person
that.
is like, detail. And then you're like, oh, fuck, that's kind of cool. That is
I love-
cool.
Ozan
Okay,
and
let's pick
Serpico are such good foils. All right.
Absolutely. Let's pick the favorite character on the list now. I'm kind of excited.
You must see the list. You must understand your choices. I don't remember them.
Am I not kind of excited then?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know where it
Yes.
is. It's up
It
to Lab.
is.
Oh, here it is.
Your choices are the dogs, Kane, Kane's friend, the nightmare, or Farnese's shadow self.
Oh, it's Fernese's shadow self. That bitch brought it.
There we go. Out of these,
I didn't need
it's
any
tough.
time. I was gonna say the dogs, but the dogs got turned into demons, so no.
Out of the options presented, I picked the Shadow Nightmare. I picked Nightmare. I think he's a scary little guy. I like him. He's a little freak.
I'm gonna see who got it. Oh, everyone.
Legit Hawaiian and constipated genius.
Oh,
Good for you guys.
good job, you guys. Dude, I know you don't like her, and she's bad. I like Vanessa as a character. I think she's compelling. Goddamn, is she going to go down a dark route in this book? Like, I'm expecting the worst.
I'm wondering if those teeth should be an off dirty white. That was the best sound ever. Can you do it again?
No, never again. That's the last time.
It's so good. It was a sound that just said, I thought about it once. It seemed like a lot of effort. I think it looks cool this way. Get over it. And then you did it, which says you did think about it.
I'm always going to do it.
Yeah, it looks good.
No. We don't know until it's done. Till it's done, I'm not making a judgment, moral or otherwise.
Okay. The teeth don't look socialist enough.
Oh my god. Can you...
That's what they said. That's what Clarith said.
Clarith, can you...
Stunning. This,
I don't know. I kind of like the overwhelming block of orange.
Oh, I liked this so much. I think it's terrifying. Orange teeth don't scare me. I'm not like, oh no, those orange teeth are going to bite me. But for some reason, this really freaks me out a little bit.
I don't know why every time we do art for Berserk, I get weird with the colors. I'm like, yeah, let's do some weird shit.
I like that you do the weird shit. If it really feels like you take a lot of risks in Berserk.
Okay, let me zoom out. Yeah, I like this better. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, you win points.
Yeah. 12 points for Ravenclaw.
All right, everybody. Have we forgotten anything, or are we rating?
Yes. Just crazy. Another reminder: the next Berserk read will be the first Sunday of July, probably. Reading to the end of chapter 137. And yeah, raid and do your sign-offs.
No, Drawk will be back on in a minute to read
One Piece. With the patrons. And somehow I intend to not forget how to go to the correct stage so that everybody can see it instead of just Patreons. Because just patrons are supposed to see
Russian badger. What's a Russian badger?
I mean, look, OT's our default. Like, sometimes we mix it up. Sometimes... Am I feeling like...
I want to see a Russian
Here's
badger.
the issue, Paladin. Occasionally, I have had people come to me with DMs that streamers you have sent us to have had an off vibe for our audience. So I hesitate.
Well, I like.
So I hesitate.
I like the Russian Badger. I'm going to go to the Russian Badger. I'm going to be like, that's okay. That's not your fault.
We'll try
Paladin.
Russian Badger.
Paladin, you're not the streamer. You're not bad.
We'll try Russian Badger.
You're a good boy, Paladin.
I just have to be honest that this has happened. Also, why? Okay, is it case sensitive? Should we rate a Kick streamer? I don't. Kick is a website for gambling, for people who stream gambling and get given piles of money by gambling companies because they know they'll blow it anyways. And yeah, I'm gonna be real. Russian Badger does not show up when I search someone to raid, so I think I am just straight up unable to raid this person.
Oh, that's a really Paula Abdul moment. If you were older,
Oaktee's got a big stream. I'm sending people to Oaktee. She's streaming. This one doesn't even look as much like a pinup. It's just a cute lady. She got horns. Oh, she got a fishtail.
Paladin just called Paula Abdul folk songs. That would be like in the future. Your kids are like, oh, Taylor Swift, that folk artist.
I mean, you know, I can see it. All right, everybody.
Squishies,
until next time.
I've been pain-free.
You got it. Well, you haven't because you hurt yourself before you started having painkiller.
I am filled with pain.
We're so good at signing off. We're so good at it. You gonna say squish on?
Squish on, squishies.
It's been lovely talking to you. Bye. And now I go to Streamlabs and I click end. Bye, VOD viewers. And then I misclick. Bye, VOD viewers again. And then I click.